freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys. Another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and all United States.FM network. Now, I always like to mix and match this show a little bit. You know, first hour, we talk about freedom. And normally I have guests. And I will have some guests, of course. We talk about law, legislation. We're talking about rights. Talking about the police state, the new world order. Things that are really important. You know, on this show, I don't touch things that normally other show may touch. If you want to talk about, the daily news, I don't do that. You know, there are better shows that can do that. Especially, you know, my show, it's a weekly show. If you want to talk about football, for sure I don't talk about that. Even baseball, any other sport. This is not an entertainment show. If you want to be entertained, I don't know, go to the casino, do something else, read a book. Okay, this is about trying to educate each other, but also is a way to communicate and get in touch with each other. You know, even the show, of course, as I told you, I don't go intentionally to the station to broadcast the show because I don't like to cross the Colorado River. I produce the show from my own studio. So I record during the week, my own pace. But at the same time, you know, it's a beautiful way to have contact with you guys, the listeners. I really appreciate that because you have probably a lot of things to say. And that's where really, for me, the importance of the show, getting your input. So what I do, I invite you to be on the show. If you want to be on my show, you're more than welcome. All you have to do, you contact me. You go to lovegunsfreedom.com. Also, of course, you can email me directly. zanna@zanna.us, or if you're a Facebook friend of mine, just PM me. And I invite you on, like a regular guest. Of course, you know, we have always limited time. So I have no censorship. There are no filters. The only thing I always say, just to please stay in the topics normally we talk. You know, we can talk about guns, we can talk about rights. Something happened to you that could be concerning all of us also, related to rights, police state, anything. Okay? And of course, all I ask you, please, you know, we are on the radio after all. We have to comply with FCC rules. That's it. Now, there is a gentleman that we met a couple times in real life at the 7 Mile Range here in Golden Valley. And he was with his lady. He's also my Facebook friend. And he asked me, hey, look, I would like to be on the show. You're more than welcome. We were talking just last night on Facebook. I said, you know what? Come on, man. And I have no idea really what you want to say. Maybe you want to just say hi. And that's fine. I'll be happy with that. But, you know, as I said, here we are. His name is Jonathan from Kingman. Jonathan, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Nice to meet you on the radio, Jonathan. We met a couple of times in person, and I want to give you the floor. You're more than welcome to ask me or say anything you want. We're on the air.
Well, look, what I wanted to address is the whole Antifa movement. They accuse the right, which is us, of being fascist, and they have no idea really what fascism is. What they don't realize about fascism is that if we were truly in a fascist state, they could not exercise their freedom of speech and criticize us for being fascist. And another thing I'm not liking about Antifa is that they are the ones who are throwing the M80s. They're trying to intimidate us who believe in real freedom, who believe in real rights. And I really honestly don't think that they understand. I really honestly can say that they don't understand that if we were in a real fascist government, they would not be allowed to do these things. They would be crushed by the government, and they're not being crushed. So why are they saying that we are fascist?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, for what I see from the TV, these people, they're almost laughable if it wasn't so serious. They call other people to be fascist. These people are the real fascists. I mean, this is not anymore about freedom of speech. These people, they go out and they're violent. They break things. they break property, they damage, and also they create physical harms to others just because they don't like what other people has to say. So it's like kind of ridiculous. And you know what is also ridiculous? These universities and the police there, they're supposed to say, hey, wait a second. You need to be law-abiding like everybody else. You're supposed not to, just because you're throwing a tantrum, you don't like maybe something's going on, start to throw rocks at things or destroy things or shut up other people's rights. So I see a disgusting things going on in Berkeley. The police stand down, given the order to stand down. I see this university justifying, let's say, for example, I'm not a fan of Ann Coulter, okay? Honestly, most of the time, she's kind of out. But, she has some good points sometimes. And now she's waking up on many issues. I like that. But more important, regardless, I like her or not, she has the right to go on a public campus funded by the tax dollar, at least partially funded like the tax dollar, like Berkeley. And instead, they say, no, you're not welcome here because we cannot guarantee your safety. Guess what? Maybe they should realize that whoever breaks the law must be punished, not just, for fear that there may be a riot. We cannot exercise the First Amendment. So, no, I'm disgusted with these bastards, but also I'm much disgusted with the university that they allow this behavior. And, of course, whoever is behind the higher, higher ranks of the police, we were given to the low-level cops to do their job. The orders to stand down. That was very sad. Go ahead.
Luca, I think about a story that I heard when I was over in Russia traveling as a missionary in the Ukraine.
Oh.
And when Ukraine was part of Russia.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And it was a pastor telling us about how the KGB used to sit there and walk up in the balcony, and if the pastor spoke out against the party, they just shot him dead in the pulpit. And that, to me, I remember thinking, like, wow, first off, he's willing, he's sharing this story, and it really hits home. And, now that I look at it, and in light of what these Antifa goons are saying, they don't understand what fascism is. They have the right to speak out against, whatever they think. They have the right. They don't realize that once fascism takes hold, or communism takes hold, all of a sudden you lose that right, and, they're not losing any rights, and so I don't know where they're coming off sitting there saying that, hey, we're in a we're up under a fascist government. It would have been way worse up under Hillary Clinton than it is up under Donald Trump, and they don't realize that, and that's what sickens me.
But
they're supposedly educated.
No, you know what is sad? I don't think they're stupid, these people, Jonathan. I tell you, one thing I realize, all they care that the person who will help them out to pursue their agenda is there. Even if he has to do fascist things, even if they will do things, but all they care that they serve their agenda. These people, they are, first of all, I really believe some of them, they are really stupid and they just believe everything they're told. Some others, instead, they're just paid off. I really believe some of these violent groups, they are part of this, let's say, subversive movement paid by bankers to create the crisis, to create, for example, this instability, because they need to have that, and I don't have all the names, but we have proof that after the Trump's election, even during Trump's, during the elections, there were big money behind. They weren't just spontaneous crazy people jumping on the truck, on the bus, and go, hours driving to protest. These people been financed. Somebody was paying them. So I don't believe they're just, stupid people that they don't think about fascism. No, they know what they're doing, and all they care, like, for example, even they knew that, I had people that I knew that they were Democrats, and even they knew that Hillary was supposed to be facing trial, at least, and they didn't care, just because Hillary, in their mind, was going to somehow support part of their agenda. That is an evil agenda anyway. It's a call complete control of the government over the individual. Then you want to call him fascism or communist, socialist, pretty much the same story. Now, the sad thing is, even these people, that they think, for example, Hillary was better than Trump, they don't realize that Hillary was working pretty much for the same people that normally they think they hate. Like, for example, the bankers. Wall Street. Hillary is a puppet of globalists, is a puppet of the bankers. Now, that's the story. But, of course, they know that what they're doing, in my opinion. These people, these protesters, they are not there as a stupid idiots. They are being fascist, communist, whatever you want to call it. They're against the rights of the individual. That's for sure. Anything you want to say about guns? Anything you would like to say about rifle? I saw you with my, something looks like my rifle, at least the Don't Tread on Us rifle at the range. Was it true or am I wrong?
Yeah, my wife actually owns your Don't Tread on Me rifle, and it's proven to be good. It's proven to be really, really a good product.
Good, man. I appreciate it. And listen, let's do something, by the way. I have Saturday, this Saturday, of course, the show's already going to be on. I have a free gun safety class. I tell you right now, in case you are in Kingman, you're welcome to come there. I'll be there. It's sponsored by On Target Enterprise, LLC, and it starts at 10 o'clock. And, if you have any friends, for example, they're new to firearms, or even people that already been with firearms, I'll be happy to meet you guys. It's going to be a couple-hour class. It's completely free. And it's going to be all about gun safety, how to handle, and also to make safe any guns. We will go from handgun, semi-automatic, revolvers, shotgun, semi-automatic, pump action, and rifle, bolt action, AR-15 platform, AK-47 platform. It's going to be a good class. So I hope maybe if you want to come, I welcome you there.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Thank you. Listen, I appreciate it. I give you the floor. You have the last 2 minutes. Whatever you want to say, then I got to get another message going on. Go ahead.
I think these young punks who are part of it, Antifa, need to realize a couple things. First off, if you throw punches, you're going to get punches thrown back at you. Secondarily, realize that your professors are not educating you. They are indeed brainwashing you. Thirdly, realize that you're being used by something that you don't quite understand. There's a bigger agenda. You're not under fascism up under this current government. I've seen fascism at its face. You are being lied to.
All right.
That's my message to the people of Antifa.
Yes, I agree with you. These people, they're being used. You're completely right. They're just puppets. Unfortunately, they're becoming now very dangerous because people can get hurt, and that's wrong. Listen, I appreciate you, Jonathan. Thank you very much. My best to you, your lady. Hopefully I see you Saturday, okay?
All right.
Thank you. All right, that was Jonathan from Kingman. And this is really what I like about the show, Yes, there is a format. Yes, I always follow, but this is also the first hour is also the opportunity that you can make the news. If you have anything special to say, could be in your community here in Mojave County, Arizona, or could be in Needles area, or could be in the tri-state, for example, like also in Laughlin, Nevada, wherever you hear the broadcast, and you want to say something that is important to the topics that normally I talk here. Could be corruption in the government, could be even some good news. I mean, once in a while we need a break. A good thing happen in your city, or something, maybe a new legislation that you're proud of. Please come on the show. Now, the same way, even if you are, we have a lot of listeners now coming from around the world. Internet has been great. So, for example, let's say you're in New Zealand, like I had guests from New Zealand, or Sweden, or Germany. And something important that could be relevant to all of us. Things that are happening there could happen here too. So please, feel free to email me or PM me, and I'll call you. I'll bring you on. So this show is no more just a local show. It's always been a show with the idea that regardless where you're from, it could be Americans, Canadians, as I said, Europeans, we all together, united as free human beings for our pursuit of happiness and freedom. That's the idea. And pretty much that. Let me take a little break, and then we come back. We have an exciting show ahead of us. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. John luca-zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys. Back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. And also, of course, on United States.FM network. And there is a new station, it's a sister station on 104.1 FM. Something like that. I'm sure the owner of the station is going to allow me for this. I need to write it down. But regardless, we are here. If you're listening, means that you're okay. You're in the right place, at the right place. Now, a funny thing happened last Sunday. The week before last Sunday, I was recording an interesting interview with a gentleman that I had the pleasure to meet because I know that he listened to the show and also, of course, is somehow connected to my YouTube channel. So I always like to have input, especially your input. And also as a broadcaster, at least used to have just a few days ago a blog on Spreaker.com, a political blog. And the guy is very involved. At least it seems like now he had like an awakening since the last election to be involved in politics. And I would like to have his input on different issues. Of course, what's happening with Trump, you already know what I'm thinking, what I'm talking about here. Everything is allowed to talk here. There are no gods among the men, okay? So any politician for me is less than a man most of the times, unfortunately, president included. So we always must scrutinize them, have an open mind, and try to give them credit when credit is due. But when we see things that they are not right, we should not be ashamed or feel intimidated to talk about anybody. On this place, on this show, I have no party allegiance. I don't care what party you are. I don't really care. I don't believe in parties. All I care that we bring the truth, and more important, that we support the principles expressed in the Declaration of Independence and, of course, in our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. That's where I stand. Simple as that. So we will talk a little bit about Trump if he wants, but also another important thing. I've been really concerned lately about the idea that maybe we've been set up for a World War III. And unfortunately, the end game, it is not just to be, going to war, but maybe setting up ourselves up through the last 20, 30 years to lose a war and eventually to be occupied and divided and completely, at this point, balkanized. And I'll tell you more of my fears. And I think these, guests that I'm going to share with you right now, you may have some ideas, maybe that we agree on this one. Anyway, let me bring him on. This is time to pretty much shut me up. And his name is Paul. And Paul, are you there? Paul Adams from Los Angeles.
Yeah, Luca, it's a pleasure to be here, and I feel it a great honor to be speaking with a patriot on very important issues.
Well, thank you.
I'm very much like you.
Thank you. And by the way, I want to apologize because last time we talked to each other, something very weird happened to the recording of the show. Out of the blue, now my voice started to get feedback. That's strange. Anyway, bottom line, what happened, I had a great interview with Paul a week ago. And normally I always run a backup system just in case something happens to one computer. I have two computers. Guess what? At the end of the show, at the end of the interview, everything was gone. There was nothing. I don't want to believe that we are so important to be in, the attention of some sort of a hacker or whatever. But the point was, it never happened before. We were talking about things like China invasion, World War III, stuff like that. Well, so anyway, we'll see what happens today. Can you hear me now still, Paul?
Yeah, I can still hear you, Luca. And I just want to give you a little bit of background on myself. I'm very much like you, I do not believe in parties. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't believe, in the two-party system. I think it's a big mistake to have parties because it divides us. And once we're divided, we lose focus of what's really important in the nation. the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, all of those things, which have gone by the wayside. Now, I have never been involved in politics in my whole life, especially after 9/11. After 9/11, I realized that we are in a kabuki theater, and it's like a Truman Show, not everything is what it seems. So I've done over 200 hours maybe of research on 9/11. We can talk about it for hours and hours, but I won't. And so after that awakening in 2008, because it took me 7 years to wake up, I kind of led my own life. I was a businessman, self-employed, and I bumped into a gentleman who wanted to run as an independent. His name is Andrew Basiago. He's a very nice guy, and he was middle of the road. He asked me to be one of his campaign advisors because I was giving him feedback, on what he should do, that he should maybe pick a cabinet and run with a cabinet, not just by himself, so he could get more visibility. I told him to maybe have Judge Andrew Napolitano, as his vice president. It sounds nice. Andrew Basiago, Andrew Napolitano, it's a nice ticket. Anyway, long story short, he decided to put up his website, and I kept advising him. He didn't go anywhere, obviously. And at one point, I realized I have to start backing Donald Trump. And the reason I backed Donald Trump is Donald decided he wanted to reopen 9/11. And anybody who wants to reopen 9/11, the investigation, is putting his life on the line.
Yes.
It's very, very dangerous. So I said to myself, this guy must be for real. I'm going to back him 110%. And I was on Twitter. I started in 2015, in May of 2015, with maybe 25 followers. And by October, November 2016, I had 9,500 followers.
Wow.
I also,
That's great.
I also created a lot of memes on Twitter. I created over 300 memes, which I designed myself. And you can see them by going to the website atzip90210.club, C-L-U-B. And I started also the podcast. The podcasts were on Spreaker.com, and the show was called America First Radio, very appropriate. And I'm almost sure that Donald Trump was listening to some of my podcasts, because in his rallies, in his speeches, I would see him pick out a few sentences, a few phrases that I had put in there. What are the odds, right? So that's my imagination maybe working. I don't know for sure, but I may have had an influence. I know that by the end of the election, I was getting close to 6 million impressions.
Wow.
Per month, okay? So, long story short, when he won, I felt like it was a miracle. Nobody expected it. Hillary was all set for the celebration. She thought she was going to win. And he won. So here we are. And now I'm starting to see that there has been a change, a radical change in his demeanor, in his policies. And I'm feeling very, very apprehensive, very concerned. I think we have been taken for a ride. What's very interesting is that back, I think it was 5-6 years ago, the cartoon, The Simpsons?
Yes.
They showed Donald Trump coming down in an escalator to announce his candidacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we saw when he came down the escalator to announce his, candidacy for POTUS. It was exactly the same. They also had an episode on Simpsons showing Hillary with a blue dress and a pearl necklace. And she wore the same thing, in one of her speeches. So I don't know what I don't know. During the Al Smith dinner, when we had the Cardinal, we had Donald Trump, and we had Hillary Clinton, they were, bashing each other and roasting each other. And it seemed to me a bit like WWF, because Donald would reach over to Hillary.
Hello? Great. Oh my gosh, this is so weird.
I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you.
You were gone for a moment. Okay, Paul, keep going.
I can hear you. So when I saw that Hillary and Donald were really being chummy at the table at the L. Smith dinner, I thought there's something very wrong here, and I've had my apprehensions ever since. For being taken for a ride, I don't know what I don't know. All I know is I have a report card here of Donald Trump. And on domestic issues, he has done exceptionally well. He gets top marks. He has repealed the TPP. He has repealed climate change. He has stopped funding for Planned Parenthood. Women's issues is very big on women's issues. EPA regulations, he's cut those down. He's putting in the Keystone Pipeline. He's opening up, the oil fields in North Dakota. And job creation, of course, big, huge job creation impetus. But what we're seeing is that his foreign policy is suddenly being hijacked. And I think it's failing on all fronts. I mean, we have the deep state controlling what he's doing. He was supposed to be running as a non-interventionist.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden we're going into Syria. We're going to be going into North Korea, maybe Iran next. The NDAA is still in place. It should have been repealed. The Patriot Act is still in place. We have NATO. He changed his mind on NATO. He hasn't prosecuted Hillary Clinton like he promised. Nothing on George Soros.
Yeah.
And he called he called George Soros a national security threat way back then.
Yes.
He hasn't done anything on that. Nothing. I think there has been a coup. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Let me put this 1 second down. Out of the blue, I see there is feedback when I talk. I don't know why. But anyway, the point is something's very wrong. Because we don't need to agree on everything. But normally, first of all, it's very hard to believe when a candidate just a few weeks ago completely had an 180 degrees position on some very important issues. Like, nobody wanted to go to war to Syria. People say, this is not a war. Guess what? When you drop 50 bombs on a sovereign country, you may start a war. And people sometimes they want to deny the evidence. What if tomorrow, let's say China or Russia drops, let's say 50 bombs, not even on the U.S. Let's say Puerto Rico. Okay? Or let's say one of the NATO country. Okay? That's the bottom line. That's an act of war, believe it or not. I know sometimes it's hard to believe with some people. They're so brainwashed. I mean, seriously. So the point is, this is so weird now that we have this completely change of direction. And at the same time, these are not minor issues. We're talking about a potential devastating effect of World War III. And as I was saying before at the beginning of the show, I believe, and this is my opinion, tell me what you think. At this point, Trump is no more Trump than we believed when it comes down to foreign policy. As much as he's trying to do the things that he promised when it comes down to, let's say, topics like jobs or let's say even creation of sovereignty, avoiding this sort of free trade agreements. But there's still some issue even locally, nationally. For example, I had last Sunday on my show Michelle De La Croce from Phoenix. She's an activist in the anti-illegal immigration movement since many, many years. And she brought out facts that pretty much Trump is completely avoiding to do what he's supposed to do, what he promised to do when it comes down to the deportation of illegal aliens, especially also when it comes down to the, even taking care of families that they're here illegally. So there are things that he still is not doing, even nationally. But more important, I'm concerned that this behavior ongoing now, like, a cowboy with all these guns completely out of the holsters, in a place that I believe really we have no business to be. We have no business to be in Syria. Nowhere in the Constitution said that we need to go there and be the policemen of the world, even if there was truth about this gas attack, and I don't believe that. More important, we are going to face now China, Russia. We are in a situation that we are militarily at our lowest level since before pre-World War II. That's where Obama brought us in the last 8 years. Economically, we are at a very point of disadvantage. Let's not forget that, after all, 8 years of Obama, and more important, 15 years of these illegal wars, endless wars, there are no even wars, conflicts in the Middle East and cost us trillions of dollars. And at the same time, let's not forget, China was given the opportunity to completely control our debt. So we're in a bad spot economically, militarily, and at that point we'll become also morally. When we start to go out like a bunch of bullies and start to drop bombs on countries that we have no jurisdiction, guess what? I believe we can eventually facing the consequences. And at that point, it's not just a little Syria or Afghanistan anymore. Now we're talking about China. We're talking about Russia united together. Then, of course, you can drop a little bit of North Korea, maybe some Cuba, maybe some Iran. Guess what? We have millions and millions of potential invaders that could come on our country and completely, like a Red Dawn movie, colonize us. Because at that point, people say, oh, we have the technological advantage. We used to. Not anymore. China pretty much between spy systems and also between, the Clintons the last 3 years, or at least, they started the process. We don't have any more this edge, unfortunately. What do you think? Am I too far-fetched to face this reality, this sort of a nightmare that I had about probably 17 years ago, the morning of 9/11, when I had that dream that pretty much inspired me to write the song Red Dawn, Red Wave. Are you there, Paul?
Yeah, the thing is, you're spot on, Luca, and actually it was that song that prompted me to give you a phone call and to reach out to you, at least through the internet, because I had similar feelings one morning that China was going to invade us, and also I was listening to Dave Hodges earlier before I saw your website, and he was talking about the same thing. Him and Mike Adams were talking about they had a sense that China might invade California, et cetera, Oregon. So this is why I reached out to you. But when you have people like John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Nancy Pelosi, even Hillary Clinton congratulating Trump on becoming the president now all of a sudden because of his actions in Syria, there's something very wrong here, okay? He is no longer in charge. And I don't think, a lot of people think that Trump is the fool's player, he's a mastermind. I don't think he's a mastermind. I think he's a checkers player. He just reacts, just like his first debate when he reacted to Megyn Kelly and he started talking about Rosie O'Donnell. He shoots from the hip. Whatever comes in his head, he talks. He doesn't think what the consequence is going to be, and that's a result of being a billionaire. You've got the money, you can shoot your mouth and do whatever you want. Who cares, right? And I think he's at a point right now where the Israeli lobby has taken hold of him, because the end game, obviously, is to balkanize America and to bring it to its knees economically, politically, socially, morally. And as you say, I echo your sentiments, we are very close to that point. China has these new submarines. They're almost invisible. You can't hear them under the ocean. They're new, and they can wreak havoc if they really want. Russia has a new electronic bomb which can completely disable our Navy at any given point in time.
Wow.
What we have is what we call the rods of God, okay, which is a direct energy weapon from space, which can pinpoint with a 3-foot accuracy a target and completely obliterate it. North Korea has the ability to take down satellites. So it's like a Mexican standoff at this point in time. If anybody makes the wrong move, everybody else will pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And I think what China really would like to see is to see the United States weaken militarily through a war with North Korea or Russia, so that when it's at its weakest, then China will strike. That's my prognosis.
Well, let me tell you something. I need to put you on mute, otherwise we have big feedback. I completely, unfortunately, agree. I wish I would say you're crazy. I wish I was crazy too. But unfortunately, the reality is one. Every time in history, a country has been given the opportunity to have power towards other countries, they will use that power. I'm not saying that every human being is bad, okay? There are some decent human beings. But unfortunately, the reality is that governments in general, they always, let's say, look and seek for more power and the way to dominate others. That's a fact. So the following it is, in human history, we had different empires. We had the Roman Empire, we had the Greek Empire, of course, the Egyptians before, and then, of course, we went down to the, American Revolution, and it became from a republic, it's becoming, unfortunately, an empire. That's the reality. But like the British Empire, I mean, they're all different civilizations. And unfortunately, what is really now the last one that is come out is already here. Economically, it's completely a superpower right now. It's China. And it's been waiting for this moment for centuries. And right now they have everything. They have the economic advantage, and also, of course, they have the military advantage. They have the great alliance with Russia. All they need is an excuse, also as a moral advantage. After all, when we go in debt with a nation, like, we are right now, we've been given into the hands of the Chinese bankers, pretty much, the Chinese government. We used to print our own money as a country before 1913. After 1913, pretty much we became the slave of everybody, bankers or other nation. So the point is, we owe all these trillions of dollars to China. All they need to do one day, start to say, we want our money back now. You don't have the money? Guess what? We come and get the collaterals. That means your land, your resources, your minerals, your water. That's what I'm really concerned. We are at this point. All they need is an excuse then. And the excuse, unfortunately, President Trump right now is giving it to them. And that's very scary, because the man, I know, is not stupid. He understands that, first of all, he's wrong, in my opinion. I mean, if he really believes in the Constitution, if he really believes in our founding fathers, something he doesn't really mention very much, everything's business or a deal. I mean, let's not forget the farewell, address of President Washington. He said, hey, please, let's mind our own business. Let's do, trade with everyone, but alliances with none. I mean, all this NATO now, back to NATO stuff. I mean, what's going on? We're becoming, again, the policemen of the world. That's the sad thing. So I'm concerned this is not an accident. And at this point, it's been planned a long time ago. And maybe that's exactly what the globalists wanted to happen here, to come at this point, and they have the closure of this long plan, and would be a president like Trump that he goes out, start to break some glass, and then at that point, they want to make us face the consequences. When you break something, you have to pay for it. And at that point, I don't know if you ever watched the TV series. I would like to remind you, and everybody out there, it's from the mid-'80s. It's called America with a K. There was Robert Urich, one of the actors, and Chris Christopherson. It was a TV series that ambiented in America, when you can see exactly in America occupied by NATO troops, people somehow living in Agenda 21, America balkanized in FEMA areas, and under the Russia and also the United Nations troops completely occupying the country. And that TV series was completely shut down by CBS because they complained from the United Nations and Russia. You can still find this TV series available on YouTube. It's a bootleg, by the way, and no videos or DVD were never released. By the way, the master of the producer, of the TV series somehow died in a fire accident in his own home. And by act of God, or by mistake, whatever you want to call it, he was able to give the master of this TV series to a friend, and she was able to make copies. That's where we are. I invite everybody to watch America with a K. I really believe that is a blueprint of things to happen, what exactly they want to happen to America. Did you ever watch this TV series, America with a K?
America with a K.
Well, to be honest, Luca, I threw out my television set back in 2008, so I haven't watched television since then. But I have heard about these shows. They're like Mad Max kind of shows right after a nuclear strike. There's mayhem, a dystopian society, and everything goes into chaos. I have heard of them. But I haven't watched them, and I think it's a form of predictive programming to get the masses used to the idea that at some point in the future we are going to see dystopia, chaos. So I don't know what to tell you. All I know is that there's more than just the Chinese who want a piece of the pie. See, America to me is like a big fatted calf that everybody wants to carve up and get a chunk out of, you know. So we have, obviously, the Chinese. They may call our loans. They may want the collateral. They may want the lands. And by the way, here in Los Angeles, that Long Beach, for all the security, the X-ray machines that are done for the containers is done by a Chinese company.
Wow.
So they have complete control of that. The solar farms in various states in Arizona, they are run by Chinese, which could be a front for their Chinese. So all I'm saying is that besides the Chinese, we also have the Khazarian mafia, as you know, who may very well have been behind 9/11. And I think that's one reason now Trump has backed off investigating 9/11, because he will expose the Mossad elements in that plot. There's also, the Vatican. I don't know what to say about the Vatican. I don't know what to say about the Illuminati. I don't know what I know is that it's like a syndicate conspiring between themselves to do something here to America. There's the communists also. The communists, it's an interesting card because, like I said last time when our show was deleted, when you go to apply for a federal job in the federal government, you have to pass an FBI background check. And they will go through your years back. They will look at every relationship you ever had. If your great aunt was communist, you disqualify, okay?
Yeah.
So they're very careful who they put into federal positions. And my question is, why aren't we as careful in vetting and doing our due diligence on politicians, on people who we are electing as public servants? Why aren't we as careful in making sure they have no communist ties? That's the big question.
That's a good point, by the way. And let me interrupt you 1 second. I mean, things have changed dramatically since this. It may still be, of course, maybe on the book for the average people, average workers out there. But look what we had. We had 8 years a Marxist acting as a president. And, of course, not just him. Right now, I believe that some of the new, even, let's say, higher ranks bureaucrats that they are appointed, they don't want him. They're not going to get appointed unless they are part of the CFR of some sort of a globalist organization. And more important, yes, they believe in global communism. Probably now they're going to get you. I tell you, even for the immigrants, I remember when I came to America, I had to pretty much write it down. Do you belong to any communist party, or did you ever belong to any organization like the fascist party? And, you say yes or no. Now I think if you say yes, probably you're going to get extra points in citizenship. I really believe that.
Right. Well, I think, the nation has been infiltrated from several levels. I'm very concerned that in a few years we may not have the Constitution anymore. I mean, the simple fact that we had somebody like Barack Obama, who was probably not even an American, rise to the presidency, and have him, write executive orders like the NDAA, and have him come on camera and tell the whole world that he is trading ISIL, and he had his generals in the background listening to this. We know right now in Iraq, the Iraqis are complaining that U.S. helicopters are dropping supplies to ISIS.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we're playing both sides of the theater here. It's just theater. And I'm not the only one who's complaining about Trump right now. We have a lot of huge supporters on Twitter and on the alt-right media who are complaining about his actions. People like Steve Pachinik, Dave Hodges, Ann Coulter, Laura Ingram, Mike Chernovich, Mike Savage, Lionel LeBron, even, what's his name, Joel Skousen. We all feel, and Jeff Renz. Jeff Renz is a huge critic now of Trump.
Are you still there?
We all...
Yes. Hello, Paul. I think we have some technical problem out of the blue. Anyway, let me tell you something, in case I'm sure you're listening. I hope you're listening. You're right. This is good. More people need to speak up. And I'm sorry only when I see my fellow Americans getting completely wrapped in their emotional situation. Like the Democrats, they were wrapped around Obama. Regardless, he was doing exactly the same things that Bush was doing, when it comes down to bombs and, of course, helping the corporations with completely unconstitutional acts. But my point is this one now. We got to wake up. We are really 1 minute before midnight. And let me tell you this, when I start to see all the little signs of these puzzles, for example, there is a book out there, or there used to be a book. Now it's kind of almost impossible to get it. It's called The Silent Invasion by Scott Gulbrandsen. The Silent Invasion by Scott Gulbrandsen. This is a book that talks about an investigative reporter that used to be Scott Gulbrandsen. And I say used to be because I don't know exactly where he is anymore. Can't find him. He wrote this book in early 2003. And the last interview I heard was on Alex Jones. He was really concerned about the death threat he was receiving. And this book was about exposing military foreign forces from Russia, potentially from China, that they were pretty much at the southern border, and they were there ready to eventually completely also invade America, testing the American defenses. So this book now is not available anymore unless you want to pay $2,000 on Amazon. There are different vendors. They sell this book used for about $1,945, and then there is also another vendor selling it for about $3,600. I bought a couple of these books that were available at the time for paperback for $14. Now something's going on. I heard in the interview that during this interview with Alex Jones, this book somehow supposed to have a sequel, the second part. This guy, the author, Gulbrandsen, is gone. Any idea? Did you ever heard about this man? If you're still there.
No, I've never heard of this book. All I know is right now, the latest news that just came out a few minutes ago is that China has just alerted its bombers. It's put them on high alert. And, I don't know if I told this site where I keep track of, breaking news. It's Trump-X-press.com. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now that is coming through. North Korea has just promised to turn the United States into dust in a preemptive strike that came out today. And so things are ramping up. Now, the question is, personally, I'm kind of blessed in a sense that I live in my vehicle right now, and I'm mobile, move around. I have almost 2 months worth of food stored up in my vehicle, so I'm mobile. Maybe I may have to move to Arizona at some point. You can only fight for so long, and then you have to sort of back off and regroup. But I'm not trying to scare. I'm not a fear monger. And I had a dream, just like you had a dream. I had a dream, and I'll tell you what the dream is. I felt like I was flowing up through the air upwards in a great big ball of fire, and I didn't feel the fire, and I felt very happy. And it was made known to me that was a nuclear explosion.
Wow.
So I don't know how precise that will be. I hope not, but all I'm saying is I'm prepared. And the funny thing is, if I didn't have those 2 heart attacks in 2014, like July and September, my life would have been still, the same old business, going to the gym, and I wouldn't have had a clue about politics. I wouldn't be talking to you today.
Wow.
So I really believe that God has a hand in this. I also belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the name by itself, Latter Days, it makes you very aware of as you're living in the latter days. So I believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ, okay? But I am trying to reverse engineer it. I'm trying to figure out what are the events that are going to eventually lead up to that. And I think I finally got a clue. I think what's going to happen is that eventually China, Russia, they're going to figure out that Israel is the tail that wags the American dog, and they're going to start pounding of America. Because Israel, as you know, wants the Greater Israel Project, okay? They want to stretch their empire. They want to go from Beirut to Baghdad, down across to the Sudan Egyptian border by the Nile, then up the Nile. That's their territory. That's what they're looking for. And at some point, the rubber has to meet the road. Something's going to happen before, we have the apocalypse. And I think it'll be very quick if it does happen. I mean, with nuclear strikes, happens, it'll be over very, very fast.
Let me tell you something. We're almost at the end. I appreciate your input, because I tell you, at this point we must have really an open mind about everything. And I thank you for sharing your dream / nightmare. Unfortunately, we can be mobile as much as we want, but if they start World War III, there is no really big place to hide unless we live in some bunkers, with Dick Cheney or the Bush family or the Obamas. The point is, they start the wars and they leave us outside. And I really believe also is the part, also the depopulation plan on top of everything. But listen, I want to say thank you for your input, for sharing your ideas and also your fears and also just what you think about it. And also, I didn't know that you had these, challenges in life, like, your health. And maybe, as you said, everything happens for a reason. I really believe that. We all following a bigger plan, superior plan. Even people don't believe in God, that's fine. But I still believe that nothing really is by accident, regardless. Now, I want to play this song that I would like to focus not much on the song, but on the lyrics. The song is called Red Wave. I wrote this song, exactly the morning on 9/11, 2001. Or at least that was the vision that I had, the dream that I had. And the song came by in the next few days. So I hope this is just a song. I hope that was just a nightmare. I hope your nightmare was just a bad dream. And I pray to God, I believe in God, and you guys can believe in everything you want. Just pray your own gods, whatever you believe. Then we're going to have peace. Because this is not a game. There is no replay button. If they start World War III, all this nonsense is going to be really something we never faced before. And that's all I can say. Is going to be something that this country, humanity, never faced before. So let's pray for peace, and let's pray that we can put some sense, not just in our politicians, but also in our people, our fellow Americans, that they just follow blindly these politicians, these, warmongers like the McCain. And now, of course, not just the Republicans, but look at the Democrats, and now look at Trump, what he's doing. I give you the floor. You have 1 minute. Whatever you want to say, you close before I play the song. Paul Adams, go ahead.
Well, I just want to tell you thank you very much for having on your show. And I also pray for peace. I think it's a question of a spiritual war here. We are praying for peace. Everybody wants peace. But at the end of the day, the Satanists, the Luciferians, the cabals, the pedophiles that are blackmailing our Congress, these people will call the shots. And everything happens with a false flag. Don't forget, we've had false flags in every major war, all the way from Fort Sumter that sparked the Civil War, and then we had, the sinking of the Maine, the Spanish War. We had Lusitania that sparked World War I. We had the Gulf of Tonkin. We had 9/11. Everything happens with a false flag. So I expect flag before anything happens, and they'll blame it on North Korea or China. So God bless everybody. Just say good to say.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Sorry, guys, sometimes the audio has been very weird, but we got it. Now, this is the song, Red Wave, musical lyrics by myself. By the way, if you want to support the show, it's very simple. You don't even need to spend much money. 99 cents, all it takes. Just 99 cents. You can go to Amazon.com, of course, put my name, Gianluca Zanna. You can find all my songs, more than 100 songs. Or even better, go to my website directly, www.zanna.us. You can download any of my songs for just less than $1. And doing so, you can really keep the show free. Everybody is welcome on the show. We agree, we don't agree, doesn't matter. This is the platform where we can communicate, hopefully help each other, understanding each other, maybe getting better. That's the idea. All right, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is Red Wave, and ready for our number 2. It's all about guns and trading.
let's show these bastards that we are not afraid.
You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States. It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. When can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. And of course, 104.1 FM. I hope I say it right. Anyway, it's a new FM station out of Bullhead. It's great. I appreciate it. It's a sister station from KTOX. And, it's nice. I like to see more people have the chance to listen to the show beside, of course, the internet. Maybe you can hear my voice. I'm kind of a little tired. Yes, it is. A little long day. But it was a beautiful day on planet Earth. I must tell you, I enjoy this. Because I tell you, maybe, I don't know if I tell you, and I don't care if I tell you or not, but let me tell you now. Well, I repeat things many times. I don't do this because I have to. I do things because I like them. And I'm blessed and I'm grateful that at this point of my life, I choose what I want to do. People say, wow, you work so much, Luca. You never take a break. For me, this is no work, guys. Don't you understand? I don't even need the money. I don't spend the money. I'm the simplest guy that you can imagine. I do things that I like to do. I like to go out there, meet like-minded people, or at least meet people that, we share some values. And, everybody got their missions in life. And one of the things I really enjoy, is to talk about guns and trying to educate my fellow Americans to be more responsible gun owners. That's it. Simple as that. And, of course, I like to shoot them. Not them, the people. The guns, of course. So anyway, today was a beautiful day. I had this opportunity to teach. And I don't even like the word teach. I'm not like a freaking teacher. I'm an instructor, whatever. I have some qualifications for sure. But bottom line, I like to share information. And today what I was doing, I was sharing information about a free gun safety class. And when I say the word free means it's really free. Because, I hate the word when the government says, oh, we have a free program, or we have free this, free that. It means somebody else pretty much was robbed to give a stuff to you, or whatever was going to get it, okay? No, this is really free. Because normally when I sponsor these classes, it's my sponsorship. It's my time. It's my money. And that means, why do you do that? Because I can, or because I like it. And also, of course, it's good for business too. You give something and people may appreciate it and give back to you. But also, this time was the sponsor, this event, by a business in Kingman called On Target Enterprise, LLC, exactly in Ashford Avenue in Kingman. It's a gun shop. He's been in business about 20 years, this guy, Pierre. It's a great place, great stuff, a lot of, variety. You can buy, of course, the Zanna coffee there too. You can buy smoke grenades that I provide. And, of course, they don't trade on us rifles. So, yes, I'm pandering to the business. It's good business. It sells my stuff. I'm proud of it. Now, beside that, what they really did great, in my opinion, they sponsored this event. And that's the way free market works. When we offer something free to the public, we don't suck it up from somebody else. It's called free will of enterprises, invest in some money. So hopefully they can get a return in an image or even just, in selling stuff. So that's great. So anyway, bottom line, thank you on Target Enterprise to sponsor this event. And more important, thank you for every one of you who came and attended this event to give me the trust to share with you this information. Now, I have with me a lady that I really like her, especially as a politician, or at least, let's say, I don't like the word politician, it's a bad word. It's a woman who's never been afraid to stand up for our basic rights, and also to stand up for what is right, And I had her on the show a few times. And, of course, she ran also for office. But today we will talk mostly about guns. We'll talk mostly about the class. She was also, of course, one of the attendees of this free gun safety class in Kingman. So I think, let me shut up. Let me bring her on, because this is probably the best thing to do now. And I would like to just give her the microphone, okay? Her name is Jennifer. And, by the way, we have a new name. I know she got married, so I want to be sure I said it right. Jennifer, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Luca. Hi.
Very good.
It's Jennifer Jones
yes.
Esposito now.
Esposito. Okay, I can tell you that normally I always mess up the last names, but on this one I'm pretty good. It's an Italian last name, so you got Jennifer.
It's an Italian last name. That's right.
Esposito. Okay, in Italy we say Esposito. Great, congratulations. So I'm glad that you found the special person. That's beautiful. And, today I was glad to see you, honestly. I finally, you look very relaxed. And, last time we saw each other, you were during the campaign running for office for District 5 as a state rep. So I'm sure you were under a lot of stress. Today I saw you.
Yeah, it's always hectic during a campaign. But, yeah, the campaign is over. I didn't win. I got almost 8,000 votes for less than $500, so I count that as a success. But the best part of the campaign was I met my husband, and who's now my husband. I met him during the campaign, so I call that a win, no matter how you look at it.
Oh wow, that's
and I don't like politician either. I like public servant.
Exactly.
I was trying to be a public servant, not a politician.
Exactly. And by the way, you say right. This is probably, if it was worth just to find a man that, you feel to share the life together. That's more important than any public office. I mean, public office in 2 years is gone, okay? Yeah, you may get reelected or not, but who cares? I mean, you have a man that, for me, in my opinion, if you find a special person, is priceless what you get out of that. So, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Now,
Thank you very much, Luke. I found a sexy Italian man who carries a Glock. How much better does it get?
Wow. Now I'm jealous, okay? Listen to me. Let's talk about today, class. Today you came to, on target. And, of course, we had a class. I enjoy, as I said, doing this. And this is not my first free gun safety class that I teach. But, sometimes I always look from my point of view. I like always to get people's feedback. I don't care if the class is free or I charge people, because I don't care. I always treat them the same. Even if the class is free, I want to give you the best, like you paying $1 million. That's pretty much the way I work in general in life, So I always try to put a lot of pride, and more important, I try to always give the best information I can. I don't want to talk about myself. Otherwise, people say, what, Luca, you're full of BS. You always think you're great. You always talk about that you do this, do that. I don't really do that. But in general, I like to, brag a little bit sometimes. But tell me about you as a student. What do you think about the free gun safety class that today you attended with me?
I thought it was excellent. I thought you provided a lot of really valuable information. There were people there that didn't have guns at all. The lady next to me, she even said, I think I should maybe look at a revolver because semi-automatic handguns frighten me, and hopefully by the time she left the class, she felt a lot more comfortable, because as you explained, you're only afraid of things that you don't understand, that you don't know, so, but even as a gun owner and a big proponent of the Second Amendment, you can never have too much safety. You can never think you know everything or you know enough. It's always good to go back and brush up on things. And, even if you learn one or two things out of a class, it's worth it. But I thought it was an excellent class. I really liked some of the things that you showed us. Like, I didn't realize that there was that neat insert for ladies' purses that would hold your gun that you could take from purse to purse. I mean, I'm kind of practical. I only carry the one purse until it wears out and then buy another one. But if I was like some of my friends and I had several purses, I didn't know about that. I thought, that's fantastic. I wish I would have known about that sooner. But I didn't think about, if I fire a lot of bullets at the range, that I need to get the lead off my hands, or do something with my clothes. Just little things like that are always, helpful, and you're always going to learn something new from somebody new, but I thought that it was well worth the price of admission. Since it was free, it was very well worth the price of admission.
Yeah, as I said, normally during the class, if you don't like it, you want your money back, just, put yourself in line, okay? But, this is true. I really believe that the most important thing we should have in general as human beings, not just as the gun owners, but of course, when you are a gun owner, I really believe you have much more responsibility because, you know, you make a mistake like a regular guy, okay, you can look like a jerk, we can move on. But if you are a gun owner, you have a gun or more guns, and you have a bad attitude, and you don't have at least, you know, as I said, the attitude is most important thing. The attitude means you are there open to receive feedback, to receive also criticism in case you do something wrong, and more important, to learn, because, you know, as I said, there is always something new to learn. And but when it comes down to safety, we must really go back, honestly, to the basics, that sometimes they are more than the basic for the average person. Because, you know, I like the idea, of course, this is a right. Everybody in Arizona who is a law-abiding person, besides few exceptions, can go to a shop, buy a gun, like pretty much like you buy a pair of shoes. And that's beautiful. You don't need any permits, any registration. We are really blessed compared to other parts of the world. But sometimes we forget that not because we can go out there and buy a gun, we don't have that type of duty. It's a moral duty. It is not a lawful duty, but it's our, you know, as human beings, we should be really serious about it. We must learn everything we can to be proficient, to be safe gun owners, and have the right attitude. So everything starts to say, you know, let's have a good attitude. And today everybody had a really great attitude. I enjoyed that, so it was always pleasant. Now, talking about, you know, something you mentioned, you know, the little insert for the concealed carry for ladies, especially for the purse. Since, you know, I believe really that, you know, that's the way we support the show and also the way we support these classes beside the sponsors. You know, I sell stuff. That's what I do. I'm proud of it. You know, it's called Universal Concealed Carry Purse Holster. If people are interested in looking into that, all they need to do, go to lovegunsfreedom.com, my website, lovegunsfreedom.com. On the homepage, on the bottom, there is a link. It goes straight to the page of the Universal Concealed Carry Purse Holster. It's a patent design. The gentleman who designed this is a veteran from Army veteran, and he lives in Sacramento. And it's amazing because you can put this insert in almost any purse, and it's adaptable. It's easy to, you know, size, and it fits pretty much every gun out there, and is affordable. It's way cheaper than a purse, and you can put in any purse. We're talking about normally sells for $35. I have it on the website, lovegunsfreedom.com, for $29.99. And I think I also get free shipping too. So it's amazing. People want it. I really invite you to go there, lovegunsfreedom.com. You can look at photos. You can read a review, everything. And, you know, we put it in the mail for $29.99. Not only you buy a great product that I think it's worth every penny, but also I really believe also it's great. So you support this show and my effort here. All right. So back to us. Are you still there, first of all?
I'm still here.
Good. Now, let's talk about, first of all, you know, one thing I like to know, you were mentioning your gun. You have an interesting, very unique little gun, honestly. It looks very nice. But, you know, you have some reservation, at least some questions about the type of caliber of the gun. If it's something that probably you need to look into something else. And, you know, this question I heard many times, and I think it's good maybe if you want to bring it out a little more in details, maybe because it can help other people out there, especially ladies, about, you know, which caliber or which gun they should have. Tell me, you want to tell me about your little gun that you have?
Sure. I have a Taurus 22 with custom-made turquoise grips on it. So it's a very pretty little gun. Beautiful turquoise grips on it. It fits my hand well. I like to shoot it, and that's primarily why I bought it at the time. I just wanted something small, something fit in my purse. I have small hands. I'm 5'2". You know, I'm not a very big person. I didn't want to carry some big thing around. But after I bought it and got used to it, someone else suggested to me, they said, well, you really should carry a 9mm that, you know, isn't, a 22 is probably not the first gun you go to for self-defense. And, of course, at the time I thought, well, it's a lot better than the no gun I had before, you know.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, that's for sure. Any gun is better than no gun, you know, and more important, you know, carry something, because sometimes people may have at the house. And this is, I tell you, not just women, even guys sometimes. My ladies, unfortunately, they do this. They have all the guns that their husband or boyfriend gave them to them. And then they say, oh, today is not the day. I don't need it. And really, you don't know when is the day. So no matter what, carry something. That's the bottom line. So you wanted to pretty much think about if you should consider to switch to a 9mm. Am I right?
Yes, that's what I was thinking about, because like I said, my hands are small, and, we had the opportunity at the class to, unload different firearms and things, and I've shot your Don't Tread on Me rifle, and that was wonderful. I had no problem holding that, shooting that, but I would look kind of silly trying to carry it in my purse, so I thought, maybe I should get something that's, looking at getting a 9mm instead of carrying the 22, and, I just wanted something that was small and that would fit my hand and that I could fire easily without too much recoil, not being a big person. I don't want to carry a big, heavy thing that gives me a hard time. So that's what I was kind of wondering what your thoughts were on that. And
first of all, let's say you were living on a desert island, okay? And that's all you have, a 22, we stick with that. That's the bottom line. But you don't live in a desert island, and now prices, they're also very, very good. The market is great. You can buy pretty much everything you want for a good price if you shop around a little bit. Now, definitely, unless you're emotionally attached to the gun, unless you need the money to buy another gun, I would sell the gun unless you can afford to buy another one without, putting any money out. That's fine. But no, the 22 would never be my first choice for self-defense. And the reasons are why. First of all, yes, the 22 is one of the most lethal cartridges that on the statistic, more people die of 22 than probably other cartridges or other calibers. The problem is that normally there are situations of, let's say, accidents. People underestimate the 22. They think it must be a very small bullet after all. No, it's a very small, but it's also very fast. But doesn't mean that it's lethal, means that you die immediately, because after all, in a self-defense situation, we don't want to kill the person or the individual or the animal. We want to stop the threat as fast as possible. At 22, it is not that good unless you really completely have the opportunity to place the shots in a very specific places. Still, it would take too long, in my opinion, to really stop a threat with a 22 unless you go straight to the, let's say, the most vital place of us as human beings. It is not even the heart, but it is the eye socket area that, you still need to justify when you do something like that. Means that you should have tried first to stop the threat with center mass shots. But the point is, the 22, it is not the first choice, as you said. Now, 9mm, my opinion, I think it's a great caliber for many reasons. First of all, the 9mm of today is different from the 9mm you had probably 50 years ago. When you have a 9mm just in full metal jacket, they normally used for recreation or for training, it's a different type of performance from the 9mm that you can have when you use now the latest technology, for example, with hollow point, and especially they have rounds that they are very fast and light. So it means less recoil, a lot of energy, and even just with 115 grains, that is pretty much, a light load, you can have such hydrostatic shock that there are videos out there. You can see shooting a watermelon with a 9mm hollow point, the watermelon completely get destroyed, explodes. And if you shoot instead with a 45, for example, even hollow point, since the 45 it's a slower round, you don't have the type of hydrostatic shock, and the round just goes through. It doesn't explode. That make explode the watermelon. So the point is, it's a great round, can be very powerful if you get the right type of ammunition for self-defense. Is affordable, something to not underestimate. You can buy a box of 9 for training, for example. I like to buy, Russian stuff like the Wolf or the Brown Bear. I can buy a box of 50 rounds for $8 a box, okay? Even if you buy, let's say, Federal, you don't buy more than $10 now at Walmart, so it's a good stuff. And then, what happened? Everybody can shoot a 9mm. The recoil is very manageable, so that's what I really would consider. Now, from there, you decide. I'm not going to tell you which brand to buy, which gun, because, there are different solutions out there. Depends on your taste, depends on your hand, depends on many things. But what I would suggest you, buy something that, it's reliable, that it's a reasonable price, because I would like never to spend too much money on a handgun. The handgun, after all, it's a tool that you have it to fight your way to the rifle. And more important, the handgun, we have it on us because it's something that, we can carry every day, every time. The rifle, we can't. But, I would probably, first of all, you buy a handgun because you always keep it on you, but the real final effort should be to buy a rifle. So that's pretty much my idea. Why to switch to 9mm, definitely. Any other questions you have about that?
Is there any difference in at the time that I bought my 22, I think there was some question about there was shortages of 9mm ammo, but 9mm seems like it works in a lot of different applications. So is it harder, is there any potential shortages of any ammo right now, or have they pretty much solved those issues that were happening a couple of years ago?
Thank God things are, back to normal, at least to the market. I mean, 9mm, even when things are really tough, is the most common available ammunition caliber all over the world. You can find 9mm all over Europe. Of course, there's a NATO around. All over America. You can go to even hardware store. I mean, probably they sell it. I mean, it's everywhere. So no, definitely it's something that I would suggest is the most common caliber. That's why I would say stay away from calibers that are kind of exotic. For example, many people like, for example, the 380 ACP. That after all, it's like a shorter version of a 9mm. You got less recoil a little bit, but also less power. But you pay probably 30-40% more for that round. Just because there is less common, and you don't find it everywhere. So why to spend all the money for a 380 when you can buy better performance for almost the same recoil, better price like a 9mm? Now, the 9, it's a great, it can be the price right now. I really believe in some moments it's cheaper than the 22 almost in proportion. Because when you don't find 22, they overcharge you now. Even now, of course, they're getting back to a little bit better. But no, 9mm, it's the best round, in my opinion, for the budget and also for the recoil. And I like the speed. And, people say, I can hit you with a 45. Guess what? I don't care how you hit me. The point is who hit first and who hit the right spot. He has a chance to win, the fight. And, sometimes not because you have the bigger round or the bigger bullet means that you're going to be the first. Anyway. So, no, I would like to go 9. Any idea what type of a brand do you like? Did you try any gun in 9mm?
I haven't tried one yet. I don't remember what brand it was, but somebody bought one that I liked, and they showed it to me. I'll have to go find out what it was, because it was a woman that had it, and she had small hands like mine, and it felt good in my hand. It felt like it fit my hand, but now I can't remember what kind it was. So I'll have to look that up and get back to you on that.
Okay.
And then see what you think. I'll send you an email or a message or something, and you can let me know. But and then I'll have to get a better holster, like we talked about in the class. I liked what you said about that type of holster over the softer type of holster. So I'll have to get a better holster, a different gun, and go from there, I guess.
Yeah, this is very important. This doesn't take much, but whatever you have must be the best quality, because this is your life on the line, okay? You don't need to spend $1 million for a holster. I can get you one of the best holsters on the market, okay? Like in KTOX, very good quality, for no more than $50, okay? But it's going to last you a lifetime. And why I say that? Because the difference between the generic Velcro holster, okay, that you can pretty much say, they fit any gun. They're just junk. First of all, they are not safe. First of all, the gun has no retention at all. You move around, you bend, the gun is going to fall. Somebody's tried, just to jump on you or whatever, they can get the gun so easily out of you, that's not even funny. More important also, you want a holster that is going to be protecting that trigger. That's one of the most important also reasons to have a holster, protecting the trigger. So you want a good kydex or even leather. If you like leather, that's fine. In my opinion, it's something, all material, it takes extra effort to clean it, to keep it nice with the oil. With time, will change shape. Kydex is much more robust, in my opinion, and lasts you longer. But regardless, get a good holster dedicated for the specific gun. Now, type of guns, as I said, there are so many brands out there. There are some very economic brands that they do decent guns, like Taurus. You can go to classic, like, for example, Glocks, one of my favorite, what I carry. And then, of course, you can go to, like the XD, Springfield Armory. There are Smith & Wesson. There is a lot of good stuff out there. All I say, whenever you go to a shop, ask to, first of all, put it in your hands, try the gun, and if you have a chance with a friend, try to go to the range and shoot a gun a few rounds. At least you have a feeling. But consider not just the gun, consider also the parts. Let's say magazines, You don't want to buy a gun that after, when you look for a magazine, it's hard to find, or let's say it costs you $50 a magazine, okay? I mean, that's why, for example, I like Glocks, because I can buy the Glock magazine, and they're reasonable price for the quality, like about $20, Glock brand, and then I can get aftermarket magazine. Yes, they're from Korea. Yeah, I don't carry those probably for my typical carry, situation, but I can go to the range and I pay only $9, $10 for each magazine. So they are good quality magazine for training. And more important, all the aftermarket parts or different spare parts that probably you never need, but it's something personal, as I said. But whatever gun you choose, have the chance to shoot it first, okay?
Okay, I will definitely try to do that, and I strongly recommend to the listeners, if they have a chance to attend one of your gun safety classes. It's free, a lot of good information. I think 3.5 hours went by before I even realized it.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
I
stuff.
thought it was going to be a 2-hour class, and all of a sudden it was over, and I go, oh my gosh, we've been talking about guns for 3.5 hours. Easy to do, I guess, but I definitely, time just flew. There was a lot of great information, and I'm looking forward to getting that gun safety PDF in the email and having that on hand. That's a big benefit of attending the class.
Let me remind that anybody that attended any of my classes, CCW classes, or of course even the free gun safety class, I put together a curriculum that pretty much all the things I talk on a PDF. And that, by the way, I'm now also elaborating it in an ebook that is free for my students. So every time you go to a class, send me the email, say I join your class, and I'll send you the PDF so you can enjoy that. Just send me the email, I'll do that. And by the way, next Saturday, I want to remind everybody, we have 2 classes. One Saturday, always at the On Target in Kingman. That it's this time it is an Arizona concealed carry class. Okay, so people can join the class. This is not free, but we got great deals going on. For example, let's say if you are, husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, or just 2 friends, you got $20 off each one. So that means you come together. Normally the price for my class, it's $85. And by the way, you think this was long? It's going to be more than 5.5 hours, the next class, Saturday. It's going to be so much information. People say, oh my gosh. But that's the idea. I want to give you the best. I want to give you all things that one day, hopefully, you don't need to use, but could save your life or could save you from jail. That's pretty much the idea. So, in case people want to come to Kingman class, you need to go to On Target. Let me see. Probably I can get you also the address now, or at least the phone number. And then Sunday, the day after, if I'm still alive, I will do also the class in Havasu City, exactly at Havasu Guns. Both classes, they start at 10 a.m. So I invite everybody that want to come. It's a great opportunity. And yes, I also run the special. If you're a single mom that still have a child or children living with her, I don't want to hear grandmother say, I'm a single mom, my boy left, and the boy's 50. Okay, no, I'm sorry, man. I wish I could help you, but I'm not the Red Cross. I do this for single mom who still have, kids living with them and they need some help. I will pay for the class. I gave you a free class on me. So in case you want to do it, I invite everybody to go to azccw.us. You can contact me there, and I'll tell you the phone number and the information that also I will get after this segment of Havasu Guns and, of course, also of On Target. By the way, Jennifer, did you get your CCW class already?
No, I haven't done it yet. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, I have the information for On Target Enterprises, LLC. It's 2747 Ash Fork Avenue, Kingman, and their phone number is 928 area code 753-4314. That's where the class was today. So I will definitely be looking into doing that in the future, and I think it's just awesome that you are donating your time to the cause of gun safety, because if something goes wrong, I like the way that you said there's no accidents, okay? But every time something goes wrong, it's always, the gun owner, or those gun people, and so it's very important that we get in good habits and maintain good habits, no matter how much we think we know or how much experience we have, that we always follow those safe protocols, because one accident can spell disaster for all of us. So I just want to say thank you again for doing this, and tell people, if you have the chance to attend one of these free gun safety classes, make the time and go do it, because it was well worth my time today.
Thank you, Lisa. Wonderful. I'll let you go, otherwise your husband's going to get mad and say, hey, you talking with my wife all this time. I better let you go. It's Saturday night after all, okay? So, Lisa,
that's right.
Say hi to him.
Okay, Luca.
Keep me posted, okay? Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank
you. Good night,
me.
Jennifer. That was Jennifer Jones.
Good night.
And, it's a pleasure. I tell you, that's why I like doing these things, because I really enjoy also interacting with the people that I meet, and it's fun. For me, it's fun. As I said, yes, I also, it's part of my business, but if I want to do really something for the money, there are many other things I can do. This is for me something that I enjoy doing. As I said, normally people go to churches, help other people at the hospital or whatever. That's what I do. I like to go out there, meet my fellow human beings. If you're American, great. Even if you're from other countries, all I care that you legally can carry a gun here, your heart is the right place, and you believe in freedom, you believe in the cause of liberty, I'll be more than happy to share everything I know, to teach the basics and beyond, okay? Now, let me take a break, because I need a Zanna coffee here. After all, I just woke up this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had a beautiful, 14 hours day, and now I'm finishing the show you will listen today. It's going to be on Sunday. This show is being recorded on Saturday, okay? So you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We'll look at Zanna, a little break, and then we come back. We got more information. I want to refresh a couple of things about also something's going on also on the Kingman Daily Miner that you should know about it. Do not go away. In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. Here we go. We are back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. We were talking with Jennifer Jones, and I really enjoy these classes, by the way, and more are coming, especially this coming weekend, exactly Saturday the 29th and Sunday the 30th in Havasu. We have two CCW classes, Arizona CCW classes. One is going to be, of course, exactly the 29th in Kingman, as I said before, at the On Target Enterprise gun shop. The other was going to be the 30th in Havasu, exactly at Havasu Guns. In case you don't have the phone number of Havasu Guns, let me get it for you: 928-302-1991. 928-302-1991. We have limited seats, so please call in, book your seat. And we have special, of course. The class normally is $85, and it's go to azccw.us. azccw.us. You can see the curriculum. It's one of the probably most complete curriculum in Arizona. But also we have special. For example, if you bring a friend, you get $20 off. Pretty neat, okay? If you are, a mother with, let's say, children still living with you at the home, in case you're a single mother, okay, no husband or boyfriend, guess what? You can get a class for free. Just email me directly, zanna@zanna.us, and I'll try to help you out. I'll pay for your class. This is what we try to do here. We try to help you out. Now, very important, I'm concerned of what's going on, of course, not just in America, but also just next to us, Canada. Canada, of course, around the world. I'm sorry, there is a group of people that I really don't like the way they behave. And this is nothing about, oh my God, picking on them again. No, it's really part of their, I start to believe in DNA, but more important, their background, cultural background, religious background. There are some people out there, in my opinion, that should not be allowed to be in a civil society because they behave less than beasts. Beasts, normally they have much more integrity and honor. There are some beasts, of course, they really are terrible. Like you got coyotes, they pack around one person or one animal, and normally is the smallest animal. And they, of course, they gang against that, and, they go for it. Go for the blood. And there are some people that out there, they do the same. Guess what? You want to guess? I'm not going to let you guess. I'm going to tell you straightforward. I'm sorry. If you believe normally in this religion of peace, their background, most of them, their religious background, the social background, the cultural background is pretty much from hell. Simple as that. There are more and more cases of violence. They cannot really have any type of normal interaction with regular women. Normally because they live in places that, they have women that they are pretty much treated less than beasts. They must cover themselves, and the moment that they don't cover themselves with a burqa, whatever they have, guess what? They pretty much become fair game for rape. This is the reality. I have friends, for example, in Canada. I was just talking to one of my friends, and it's very sad to hear that, she was walking around the same park that I walked just a couple of weeks ago when I was in Vancouver, and she was chased by 3 people that they look exactly the profile that I'm talking here. She has to run to a police station. Can you believe that? In the middle of, Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada, they have this type of behavior that is regular now. Single women, especially if you're good looking, especially if you're blonde, guess what? You are a target. Now, why am I going this in the hour about guns? Very simple. I really want to remind you that, of course, evil doesn't know religion or doesn't know any type of cultural background. Evil is out there. They're scumbags that belong to any group. But, of course, now we are facing as humanity this new invasion that, like, for example, it's a statistic in Europe, like especially in Sweden. Sweden is considered now the capital, the rape capital of Europe. And 75% or more of these rapes are from refugees, normally with Muslims background. Simple as that. This is according directly from the Swedish government. So it's not a conspiracy. Sorry, it's a fact. Now, I want to play this little short, let's say, segment from an Australian radio, Australia TV. I guess it's Australia TV. Anyway, it's a short. Remind us what's going on right now in Norway. Because I want to talk to you exactly the final hour with my friend, the Canadian friend that I interviewed just when I was there in Toronto a few weeks ago. Guess what? He got arrested because he was defending women who were harassed and, sexually harassed by this group of pack of bastards. I don't even want to call them bastards because I have more respect for bastards. These people, they were pretty much ready to jump on these ladies. All the other people, they were just watching. This man, young man, open his mouth, they attack him, and of course, he tried to defend himself, and at the end, they arrest him. But regardless, I want to play this because it's time to armed. Everybody should be, every law-abiding person should be armed, especially normally people that consider themselves, the weak sex or whatever. I don't believe in weak sex, but the point is, if you're a woman, normally you have disadvantage against a man. Normally. There's some men pretty much that they're less than, I have more respect for women than some guys out there, okay? But that's the exception. The average man normally can overpower an average woman. So, why the gun? Because the gun is the great equalizer. You must train. I always say train, first of all, with, empty hands. You may not able to even reach the gun. There are different programs. And I'll tell you more next time about what program I would like to really, you start to look into it, But right now, let's just play one second of this little segment. I think it's something important. And then we'll talk more about, why really we should be ready and train, okay? Train every time we can. Let's play this.
Several weeks before the massacre in Norway, CBN News went to Oslo. We went to investigate reports that nation's experiment with Muslim immigration and multiculturalism had gone terribly wrong, that Muslim radicalism was growing, along with violence and intimidation against non-Muslims. In the wake of the killings, some on Norway's left call the fear of Islamization a conspiracy theory. But the victims of Islam are real, and they are mostly Norway's women. They are problems Norway has never faced before. Every woman in Norway does not have full human rights. There are women in this country who are denied their rights by their families, and they live in fear for their lives. At the Red Cross office in Oslo, Monica Berge and Ann Marte Stifjeld take calls from Norwegian girls who face honor violence, forced marriage, and genital mutilation.
To have girls who calls, and we really get this bad feeling in the stomach that something is seriously wrong. Most of the girls tells us that I wouldn't think about it, or I never thought it would happen, because I live in Norway, I have my friends, I go to school, and I never thought it would happen.
They not only live in Norway, but they were born in Norway, and they speak Norwegian. But their rights are not protected, and they are controlled by their families.
And a lot of them have been threatened or beaten up. And they tell us about a lot of social control. So when they become like 10, 12 years, they started following her to school just to control that she's not have any contact with other boys, because good girls don't do that.
Hege Storhaug was a self-described naive left-wing journalist when an encounter with an immigrant woman changed her life and her career.
In 1992, as a journalist, I met a young Norwegian-born Pakistani woman, only 18 years old. And she had been married at gunpoint in Pakistan to a second cousin. And I was so shocked when she said, for example, my parents were willing to kill me if I didn't enter this marriage, to protect their own honor.
Storhaug now works full-time to protect immigrant women and girls from forced marriage, genital mutilation, and honor violence. Women, she says, who have been abandoned by the Norwegian government and deprived of their rights as citizens. Like 4 Norwegian sisters all sent to Gambia for genital mutilation.
They were aged 3 to 9 years old. All 4 were dumped in the village in Gambia, the village of origin of the family. And they were female genital mutilated in the jungle, traditional. They have been stripped from the possibility to become a full member of this society. And we have allowed it. We have allowed it.
Storhaug, who works on behalf of the rights of women, has been called a racist and an Islamophobe by the left in Norway. Something else that Muslim immigration appears to have brought to Norway is what some here call a rape epidemic. Recent police statistics showed that in the capital of Oslo, 100% of assault rapes between strangers were committed by immigrant non-Western males, and 9 out of 10 of their victims were native Norwegian women. Some blonde Norwegian women have reportedly begun dyeing their hair black, and many travel only in groups. Kristin Spitsnogel is a therapist who has counseled some of the rape victims, and she's been attacked in the Norwegian media for saying what many will not, that the rape problem is primarily Muslim men raping non-Muslim women, and any woman who does not dress modestly and wear the Muslim headscarf could be considered by some Muslim men as fair game.
For them, I think the hijab is a symbolic marker which separates the submissive, proper Muslim women from what they see as the Norwegian horse. But when I say horse, I'm really just referring to their own words. This is what they told the journalists.
Spitsnogel says Norway's left-wing establishment has been blaming the victims, because the whole notion that Islamic culture is dangerous to women is very politically incorrect here. Hannah Herland is author of the best-selling book Alarm, Thoughts on a Culture in Crisis.
And not all values, some of them are excellent, but not all values from Islamic countries or cultures are excellent to bring into the European society. And I think many times the Norwegians fear to speak about that in fear of being called a racist.
But it's hard to call a Muslim immigrant a racist for speaking out against his fellow Muslims. Walid al-Kubaisi is a respected Norwegian writer and a Muslim who came from Iraq. He told us he's concerned about radical Islamic elements within the larger Muslim community in Norway.
We have a problem. All deny, nobody say that. We have a big problem, but this will give a bad result in the future.
As in other European cities, parts of Oslo are now Muslim zones and may be subject to Sharia law or to the rules of local imams.
Most of the areas where the Muslim is majority, the Norwegian feel that they're not in their country. They're not in Norway.
When we interviewed Walid in June, no one had any idea that a crazed gunman would start killing people because of Muslim immigration. But Al-Kubaisi made what now feels like a chilling prediction.
You think there will be a backlash, a reaction against immigrants?
Clash of civilization. It will happen.
Civil war?
We don't know. I am not a prophet. But something will happen. Something will happen. I don't know. But I feel it.
Some on the left in Europe are trying to use the Oslo massacre to stifle criticism of Islam. But not talking about it won't make Norway's problems go away. Dale heard.
By the way, that was something that a few years ago was even there recent. But just to let you know, things got worse in Europe in general, especially in the north part of Europe, like Sweden, Norway, Denmark. Now, why am I talking this again? As I said, the next part of the next hour, I will have my friend that I also had already a few times on my show from Toronto, Canada. And he spent a few days in jail just because he was trying to defend Canadian women being pretty much physically almost assaulted. They were really so close by this pack of bastards that they had no idea how to behave in a civil society. Now, I'm not saying that every Muslim is bad, unless you are a bad Muslim. Let's be true. If you're a true Muslim, you go through your book and you read your book, you must follow the orders of your prophet, and we have a big, serious problem. You know what you think about us. We understand. There are also people out there that were born Muslim that really don't care. Like this guy, he just wants to be a decent human being. That doesn't mean that he's a good Muslim. It means that just he wants to be a decent human being, and he doesn't care about his religion, he doesn't care about his prophet. He's not going to follow those type of behavior, this type of, let's say, teachings. So that's the reality. This is the true things. This is not a game. I don't like to talk about religion. I don't like to bash any religion, honestly. But I draw the line. When there is a group of people that unfortunately they base their belief on violence and suppression, and pretty much, with no integration, and all they want to do is convert others by force, I have a big problem. That's why I would like to say, every law-abiding person who believes in freedom, we have the right here in America to be armed. Let's use this right. You armed and trained, not just with your handgun. Sometimes you cannot carry the gun every time. Start with your mind, your mindset. Your brain is the first weapon, followed by your heart, or at least at the same time. When I say that, why? There are two elements that we need to consider. First of all, your brain is the one that is going somehow to understand how to neutralize the threat. It could be with a finger, could be with a pencil, could be with a rock, could be with a gun. Doesn't matter. You use your brain. You learn the techniques. You give you the coordination. It give you the understanding of the weak points of your opponent. But what is really behind your brain at the end is your heart. Your heart, after all, is the sparkle that will give you the chance to survive. They will give you the motivation, the energy to fight back. You don't just fight back for yourself. You also fight back for the innocent person out there. That could be maybe your wife, could be the children, the child, could be that, anybody out there that doesn't deserve to be raped or killed, or tortured. And you want to do the right thing. Like, for example, my friend Tyrssen did at the end of the show. You will listen. Even when you know that the odds are against you. That's why, your heart probably is the most important weapon that we have. Then, of course, you have tools. Could be a sword, could be a hammer, could be a rock, could be a stick, or could be a nice, probably a gun. Or a rifle, even better. Yes, but at the end of the day, you are the weapon. The firearm or the knife is just an extension of you. It's something that gives you an edge to be more effective, you know. So that's my point. Let's not underestimate that, okay? Because at the end of the day, you can buy all the guns you want. If you don't have the sparkle in your heart, that will give you the motivation to fight back. If you don't have, of course, your brain, it's going to be the same time, cold and sharp, ready to somehow analyze the threat and stop it. At that point, you don't have any chance. Anyway, now, very important, I have a new project that, I've been working pretty hard and I'm really excited. It's called, of course, you don't know, of course, it's called Skadi. Skadi as S-K-A-D-I. It's a it's a Norse, a Viking goddess, a goddess of winter, associated to winter, to hunting, and also the revenge. And I've been inspired by this, I'm reading, let's say, mythology, also is religion for some, for me, some sort of historical, mythological, at least, let's say, cultural aspect of this population from North that I really like, North Europe. And I wanted to give the name to this AR-15 upper that I'm producing, called exactly Skadi. It's chambered in 223 Wild. It has an incredible look. You will see if you go to, I'm going to post it on, you go to the website, AR-15, AR, number 1, number 5, 15, shop, shop.us. So anyway, it's a new project. I'm really proud, and it's made in the U.S., and you will see. It's a credible little upper. I really like it. It is a little more, of course, I don't want to call it sophisticated, but, they don't trade on us. It's a great upper. I love it. It's the M4 configuration. You can buy that one, by the way, if you go to freedomrifle.com, and we have an incredible special now, even just for the upper. You can get a complete upper for $350, free shipping, with a rear sight, A2 handle rear sight. But, it's a special. But the point is, this new upper, Skadi, it's a little more, let's say, advanced. It's a little more, little more money, but still an incredible price. Comes complete with bolt group, charging handle, okay, and free shipping for $390. And if you go to AR-15shop.us, you can take a look. It is really, really beautiful. So anyway, today, Sunday, while you're listening to the show, guess what? I will be probably at the range doing a nice video, shooting this new upper with, of course, the lower by Plum Crazy Generation 2, my favorite lower, that is also the heart of the Don't Tread on Us rifle. So that's the bottom line. Also another thing, if you want to buy now the Plum Crazy lower, I can ship it directly to you anywhere in the states, of course, where allowed by your state laws. Yes, I am, of course, a gun manufacturer, and I'll be happy to ship the lower directly to your gun shop, to your local FFL dealer. That's beautiful for just $109. And you also get a free Don't Trade on Us t-shirt. So go to freedomrifle.com. You can find my email there. And if you want to get this lower, more important, if you want to watch how this lower performs, you can see the Plum Crazy Generation 2 is amazing. We run it over with about probably 11,000 pounds Humvee. We put 3 strip lowers on the asphalt in the middle of summer. We run it over twice with this, very heavy Humvee, no even a scratch. All the other aluminum lower, they would be bent. This one is amazing. Then you have lifetime warranty, don't forget, on the lower, lifetime warranty. You have an incredible trigger group, all made of polymer. All the interior parts are polymer. People say, oh my God, it's plastic. Oh, guess what? You don't get lifetime warranty like on your regular AR-15. These parts, they are covered by lifetime warranty. They know maybe that they're doing something right. And more important, the trigger breaks exactly about 3.9 pounds. 3.9 pounds. I have it on video, freedomrifle.com. My average, breaking point in pounds of my Bushmaster, more expensive Bushmaster, is about 8 pounds. Ridiculous. So it's an incredible fast trigger that self-lubricates. You don't need to do anything. Just wash it with water if there is dirt. That's it. And spray with air. That's amazing. So I'm very proud that I can bring you this new, let's say, reality. Because after all, my goal is that every law-abiding person, women and men, and between, I don't care who you are. I care that you believe in freedom. That's all I care. Finally, they can afford a gun. They can afford, more important, a rifle. Yes, you want to buy a gun first because normally you carry the gun every day. By the end of the day, you want to have a rifle. Everybody should have at least one or more rifles. Because that's the way you will defend freedom when really things going to get nasty. The handgun is too close. When somebody comes close to you with a handgun, it's pretty much, the fight is pretty much almost over. You want to, you want to have something that you can stop the threat, especially when they try to attack you. And remember, more important, no war haven't been defeated. Should be ever been won by population with handguns or shotguns. Everybody needs a rifle. Now, people say, war. Look, you want to go to war? No, I'm not going to go to war. I believe in peace. But if they bring war to us, we will be ready. Or at least we will be the best we can be. That's my point. Yes, I said that right. I'm not looking for war, but the ancient Latins used to say, if you seek peace, prepare for war. Always be prepared. And I tell you, if every law-abiding American would have at least one rifle, one handgun, and they would know how to use them, and they would have the right heart and the right mindset, combat mindset, I will talk to you next week more about it. Guess what? No country would ever take over this country, and more important, no evil would flourish. Nobody would try to, infringe on our rights, bossing us around, or even trying to rape us or try to do terrible things. Because we are free people, and we will stay free. Because we have this right, differently from many other parts, and probably all over the rest of the world. I don't know any other country that has this as a right. In America, we have the right to keep and bear arms, period, especially in the state of Arizona, with no apologies. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Be ready for our number 3, and my God help us. Listen what happened to my friend from Canada. What happened to him?
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice. The Zanna way. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration. Chambered in 223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499. Made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Tread on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD Don't Tread on Us, free ebook How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
All right, guys and girls, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and also on 104.1.fm. Point FM. Anyway, bottom line, Hour of Love. I always say one of the most important weapons we have against evil is love. Love for our fellow human. We go out there And after all, as I said, guns or knives or weapons in general, they're just tools. Our real weapon against evil, it is our love. It is our heart. Of course, I always say, the heart is the activator, is the sparkle that motivates us to do the right thing, then follows by the brain, that I really believe it is the real weapon. And then, of course, if you have tools, that could be a handgun or a knife, could make life easier. But at the end of the day, it all starts from your heart. It is love. And the sad thing in this society, no matter where you are, if you're in Europe, Italy, Germany, America, and of course now I will tell you the situation what happened in Canada, we've been trained to be almost cynical, to completely be detached by reality. We see in front of us evil, we see in front of us bad things happen to innocent people, and unfortunately society is pretty much being programmed to just ignore it. Like it is not our business, it is not our problem. And that's sad, because at this point we will lose our humanity. I understand sometimes there are situations and consequences that we will pay even when we try to do the right thing, especially if you are in the wrong state or in the wrong country. I understand. But at the same time, more we let it go, more we will lose our humanity, more we will lose also this battle against evil. I always say, there is nothing worse than, we can do when we witness evil, just doing nothing. That's how evil will flourish. Now, I had with me already on my show in the past, this guest is a friend, call him a brother. He lives in another country, Canada, that I had the pleasure and the honor to visit, even with my own reservation, just a couple of weeks ago, because I really felt the reality of what the Canadian people are facing right now, how things are changing, how their rights are changing, how they've been somehow planned to self-destruction. That's the way I look at this. And that's sad, because it's a repeating chapter that already happened in Europe, in countries like Germany, or, for example, Sweden, or even Italy. So I just pray that somehow what I'm trying to do today is to share the example of a man that I believe in my heart, he has a great heart, and is trying to do what his heart tells him when he sees in front of his eyes evil perpetrated by people. And this time, in this situation, I tell you, there are going to be two cases that happened. And always the same type of people, believe it or not. The religion of peace strikes again. But regardless, let's go 1 second with him. His name is Tyrssen. He's from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Tyrssen, are you there?
Hey, Luca, how are you, buddy?
I'm okay. How are you? I know that you spent, I was worried because I didn't see you for a while, and I heard that you spent maybe a couple days in the can, right? You were in jail or not?
Yeah, first I broke out, I had an allergic reaction. I broke out in handcuffs, and then, the state put me up for a couple nights. It was not the most comfortable sleep, but, hey, the food was great.
Tell us
socialism at its best.
Tell us exactly what happened, because I know a few months ago, I think it was after the Christmas or the holidays there, you had a similar situation that you didn't end up in jail, but you end up at the hospital when you were trying to do something about some person that was, I think, on the transportation, and there was an assault. Remind us exactly, first of all, what happened a few months ago when you went to the hospital because somebody broke a bottle in your head. Tell us exactly there. Remind me that, please.
Yeah, that was right. Actually, I don't remember if it was right before or after the holidays. I think it was right before, like early December. Anyways, yeah, we have it's called the SkyTrain here in the Vancouver area. It's like how down nearest major city I guess would be what, Phoenix?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if it has the one, but like the big rapid transit lines, like how they have in East Coast cities and all that.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like that. It's kind of like that. But
okay.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. I'm here.
Oh, okay, sorry. So anyways, this happened a couple times to me, but what happened on the holidays really kind of sucked. But it's not because I like think I'm some kind of Rambo or want to play hero or nothing like that. I really actually, when it happens to me in my life every now and then, I don't want to be the guy that even. Oh, sorry, I got to watch my line with that. But it has to do anything.
Okay.
It just, if no one else does, what you were just saying, evil or whatever, misdeeds will only go unpunished because we allow it, right? Evil persists because good men do nothing. So
exactly.
I'm not about that. So I saw somebody. I don't know if they were trying to rob the people or if maybe it was a personal thing, but so I got involved, and the person was he wasn't really he wasn't really into talking to me either, basically. So I got hurt a little bit, just my nose and stuff like that. But this one was a little different. This one really irked me. What happened there last week is once again actually public transit, and a group of what's the word I should use on the radio here? A group of Middle Eastern type people, probably in their late 20s or so, were harassing these very young girls. Like they look to me like they were definitely schoolgirls. Like we're talking teenagers here. They're minors, and there's maybe 40 people within earshot of this really derogatory way that they were speaking to these girls and stuff. And I looked around a couple times, no one else was doing anything. So finally I was like, I just kind of said to myself, well, yeah, here we go. So when the girls, who by the way, were looking very distressed, like they did not look comfortable with what was happening. And these guys were kind of like almost, what's that word? They were lording over them. They were like almost surrounding them. So I waited till the girls had to get off at their stop, and I physically put myself in between them and these guys, and I just told them, you go ahead, have a good night, be safe. And then I turned towards the guys and said, well, yeah, this isn't your stop, so you stay here with me. And that's when they got really, I'm really trying to watch my language, man. Sorry, I got a bad habit of swearing all the time. But
that's okay.
Yeah, that's when they got really ornery. And the next thing I knew, one guy kind of grabbed me, and the moment I felt a hand come up and grab me, then exchanged a few blows and whatnot. I didn't pull a weapon on anybody. No one pulled a weapon on me, nothing like that. It was just, what we call in the Canada are fisticuffs, sort of. But police got involved, and all the people there, not only did they not do a single thing to help these girls that looked like very scared, but yeah, no one even spoke up for me either. Saying, yeah, hey, this guy wasn't harassing them or anything, because that's what they thought at first. They came because of me. They thought like I was trying to pick a fight with these guys. There was like 7 of them or something. Like
okay, let me ask you something. I have a couple of questions. First of all, you say about like 7, the number, right? So you were one person against let's say a group of coyotes here. We're talking about 6 or 7 people, more than one, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I think it was only 2, maybe 3 that actually assaulted me.
Okay.
But there were 7 of them or so in total.
Doesn't matter. They don't need to assault you all. When they act together as a group, that's for me, it's a very potential dangerous threat, because even they're just 2 or 3. By the way, 2 is not even 1. Right there, we have a disparity of force. That, of course, this is Arizona, could be different from you guys. But the fact when you have 2 or more people that they try to attack you physically to give you bodily injury, seriously bodily injury, you don't know what type of gravity they could give you. That's a serious danger, at that point. You have more than the right to defend yourself. Now, my question is, after, when the girls, you were on this bus, okay, on this train, did they leave at the stop? Did they leave the train and you were along with these people? That's the way a situation started it?
Yeah, they it's hard to explain. It's an automated train system, sort of, right? Yeah. So it pulls into a station. A couple seconds later, doors open. Yeah. They're open for maybe 30 seconds. They close. I put myself between the girls and those guys until those doors closed again.
I see. And so the girls left. You had no more witnesses. I mean, at least there were more your witnesses. They just left and ran, pretty much. And you were left alone.
Well, I mean, there were witnesses, but they were all a bunch of spineless whatever,
That's my point.
Squids, basically. And they wouldn't speak up for me.
Wow.
there was a lot of people on that train. It was
wow.
I mean, I don't remember what time exactly, but it was basically like it was in the evening, when people are going home from work and whatnot. So
that's
there
very
was
sad.
a bunch of people there.
That's very sad. Sad, of course. First of all, I'm glad the girl they were able to get out of the train and go to safety. I wish, of course, they would at least been able to maybe be there when the cops arrive. Say, by the way, cops, this guy didn't do anything wrong, but they were already gone. But the sad thing that's your fellow Canadians, that they witness all that. All you were trying to do to put yourself between these ladies, young ladies, and these scumbags, they didn't say a word. That for me, it is disgusting beyond limits. I'm telling you, because now, of course, I am not there. I'm repeating what you told me. But the point is, I know you. You're a peaceful guy. I met you in person. And I tell you, you tell me that you didn't throw the first punch at them, right? I mean, you didn't start the first attack. Am I right or wrong?
Well, half right. Basically, someone, one of them, they reached forward and they grabbed my shirt, like right below the collar of my neck.
Okay.
So once there's a hand on me, my instinct was just,
that's enough. That's enough.
Make them have to let go, so I punched them.
That's enough. And if somebody touch you right there, here in our state, it's an assault. I don't need to wait that you punch me in the face. You touch me with a finger at that point with the intent to intimidate me or to, let's say, provoke me. Right there, we have an assault, at least in this country. I'm no lawyer, but I'm just repeating our statutes, at least in our state. So
it's the same here, even just a finger, it's assault. You're touching somebody without their, being okay with it.
Yeah, with the intent to provoke you or to, physically harm you. That's the idea. So right there, I think in my opinion, you had the right to defend yourself, especially, it wasn't just one person against one person. I mean, right there, when you have, as I said, disparity of force, in my humble opinion, more than one person, they don't even need to be harmed. They could, attack you all together, put you on the ground, and beat you with kicks in your face till you die. I mean, this is a serious...
and that kind of thing happens up here, and it's usually... I'm trying to choose my language here. It's usually that kind of demographic, those fellas, in that exact kind of setting where there'll be a group of them, and, they'll kick a guy into a coma, basically, But, it doesn't even have to be a bunch of people. Even just, an altercation with one person. If he hits you and you fall over or you get knocked out or something like that, I mean, I take, having to fight somebody pretty seriously because, you fall over, hit your head on concrete, you're dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how tough you are, you're dead.
And I tell you something, it was my first time I came to Canada a couple of weeks ago when we met. And I tell you, with my own eyes, I noticed, I don't know what happened to Canada the last 50 years, but I noticed what's happening right now. And in an area like Vancouver, especially Burnaby, that's supposed to be, kind of a nice area. I was just going around that, walking on the streets, especially around the park there. And I said, oh my gosh, am I maybe in the Middle Eastern here? I mean, what the heck is going on here? And, the sad thing, normally I don't care who you are, but I care, unfortunately, I look at facts. And the fact is that statistically, this is not like an opinion or anything personal that I have. You see, for example, Europe, you see Germany, you see Sweden, you see also Italy, but especially countries like Sweden. The capital rape of Europe, according to the police statistics, all these criminal acts against women and also against their boyfriends, because, first they beat up their boyfriends to death and then they rape the women. They're mostly done, according to the Swedish statistic, by people, follower of the religion of peace. And when I say peace, means P-E-E-C-E, okay? That's my way I say peace. And, I don't go after any religion. You can believe in whatever you want. But I draw the line. When your book tells you that pretty much not because I am a follower of your religion, you can treat me like a piece of crap, and your book, technically, I should become a slave, pay a dima, a tax, or convert, or you chop my head if we go to the extreme. So I don't really respect any of these things. And I understand now Canada is changing. You cannot even criticize any more of these things, or at least you have no more freedom of speech pretty soon. But I tell you what is disgusting now, that this is becoming very violent. And I wouldn't be surprised if the police or the, let's say, law enforcement in general, they've been giving directives from above, from the administration that you have, that pretty much now it is no more about, let's say you were one of them, and let's say you were surrounded by a bunch of white guys, okay, Canadians. I'm sure it would be all the opposite, in my humble opinion. I think I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean?
That kind of thing has happened. It's freaking rare. That kind of thing has happened, and every one of those white guys, even if one or two of them didn't do anything, all of them would be up for like a hate crime, basically. Like, you know, they'd be looking at like a 16-year sentence.
Wow.
Guaranteed.
Well, this is sad. No, I'm really worried. I tell you, my humble opinion, don't go anymore by night on a night by bus, buy a car or a bicycle, something, because this is getting scary. Every time you go out at night, this is how much can you handle this stuff. Now, when you gonna, what's gonna happen? You get released after how many days in jail? 2 days you spent?
Yeah. And you get, I'm sure you guys have a similar thing, but it's up here. It's called nicknamed a P2P, but it promised to appear. So
yeah.
You get released after they make you sign a little thing which says, that you swear that you are going to appear at this place at this time, and basically you go for a first appearance in court.
Yeah.
So like to either answer for charges and have them read to you by like a judge,
yeah,
or to have the judge say, well, this isn't worth anyone's time, and throw it out and basically have your time wasted during a workday.
Well, I hope Wednesday. You told me they're supposed to be there. The judge maybe has some common sense to say, wait a second. Of course, unfortunately, they need to have some elements. At this point, I'm no lawyer, I'm no judge, but I tell you, you need to bring some evidence. Say, after all, now you have your word against their words. And
if they do want to go ahead with charges, I want to tell them, okay, well, the private corporation that runs all the public transit here, it's called TransLink.
Yeah.
I want to say to them in court, okay, then you talk to TransLink and you request the security tapes, because there's footage from cameras all over those things, guaranteed. There's cameras everywhere on public transit here.
Exactly, and that was my next thing. At that point, you have the right to at least have evidence to show that you are just trying to stop a very dangerous behavior. That, I think you did exactly the right thing, and I commend you for that. I tell you, I saw you a couple of times. I see what type of person you are. I mean, you're a piece of bread, but at the same time, you're not a coward. And I wish more Canadians were like you, because the problem here, what's happening, we've been taking over. And you guys, first of all, you got now probably the worst is coming to you, and we are next if we don't do something. But we're not going to stop this if we just stay, barricaded in our homes, and when we see crimes or alleged crimes around us, we stay silent. This is very serious. I mean, these young girls tomorrow could be your daughters, could be your sisters, could be also your mom one day. I mean, this is serious. Where are the men? I mean, what happened to the men of Canada? My God, what do you think what's going on? Why people are just so afraid to speak up? And they don't need to fight. All they need to say, point the finger, say, leave them the hell alone. And when you have 30, 40 people screaming at these bastards, I think these people, they will start to run. What do you think? What happened to the men of Canada?
Well, I don't know. It's the culture here it's changed a lot since I don't know, at least in the last decade. Like I think you and I even talked about this when we went for that beer there. But I remember when I was just getting out of high school, looking at the people just a little younger than me, about like 2 or 3 years or so, and like they just. I couldn't see any way that like I could relate to these people. They were so different in attitude and worldview and what their concerns were and everything. Like even at that young age. And when I look at who those people have become now, they're all the SJW types, or else these metrosexual friggin' squids basically. Squid means like you have no spine. It's a slang term up here. If you're called a squid, it's an insult. But yeah, that's what they are to me. And anyone who did have a self-respect and a bit of love of country, I met a lot of those too, but they seem to be getting hard to find because they either served and now are whereabouts unknown, or they've been left to the veteran affairs system to wither away and die. But it's a fine line. There are a lot of people here that won't they won't sit by and do nothing, but it's becoming like what friends of mine from Europe describe, where like I said, there had to be like I don't know, the number I just thrown out there is like 40 people, I bet, who could see everything unfold last week, and nobody said Like, you could hear a pin drop, I bet.
Wow. No,
that's ridiculous.
You know what? In my opinion, we were talking, and by the way, guys, when you listen to the last couple Sundays ago, my mysterious guest when I was around Burnaby, British Columbia, is him. It's Tyrssen. We were talking with him. We were talking about this, and I have my own theory that is not even a theory. I think they are factual things. The way they've been mentally and physically castrating our next generation, it is on the open. I mean, when we start to see, for example, just mentally, you go to these schools now, public schools, they are just public re-education camps, with these sensitivity programs that pretty much you cannot even anymore have a, let's say, when I was a kid in my boarding school in Italy, there was no idea we didn't have a fist fight. No cops were involved, no moms were called, there were just things between kids, and we were doing okay. Now, of course, you cannot even have a drawing of a gun that you're going to be reported to the social services. And more important, chemically, we are being, at least the new generation is being castrated chemically. I really believe all these estrogens in the meat. And of course, in different systems like the BPA, the plastic, and the fluoride, and the vaccines, and the food, and all the crap they do, and the TV. I mean, it is just another way to destroy a generation of human being, and men especially. That's how you conquer a country.
I have to interrupt you to add something to that. You didn't see it because where you stayed here, that's that's a nice area. That's a middle class area and whatnot. Yeah. So the problem that I'm about to mention would be there, but it's not something you're going to see publicly. But if you were in like downtown Vancouver or out in like some of the more rural areas, there's a place called Surrey, look that up sometime and see the problem there. But out of my generation, I look around at everyone. Like, you would not believe how many people I went to I grew up with or went to high school with that have all gotten into either doing or selling drugs. Wow. Drugs. And not like, I don't mean smoking a little pot here and there. I mean people doing, fentanyl and dying, or, people selling crack, cocaine, and the drugs are rampant here. It's freaking epidemic.
No, I understand. I tell you, I was excited. You're right. I didn't go to the bad part of town, but I tell you, even just being around the beautiful part of Burnaby, just going around, this neighborhood is supposed to be a decent neighborhood. I can see them when they start to go around in pack, and they look at you. If you don't look like them, they don't have really exactly a friendly look. I'm telling you that, and this is nothing new, because I saw the same behavior here in the U.S., in some part of the U.S. where I used to work years ago, especially in Los Angeles 20 years ago. They already had the same attitude. And normally they go around in pack at night. They don't behave like, single individuals, like, human beings. Let's go out for a night, a date, or maybe just to have some fun. No, they go like a little tribe. All they miss is their camel. Now they go with expensive cars, maybe. By the end of the day, they exactly behave the same way. When I didn't tell you, my first job when I came to America, I was a manager of security of a club in West Hollywood. And the first problem we had, we were pretty much invaded by this type of individuals. And, you gotta be watching it because, you need to keep public image. At the same time, you want to have good people coming in. But you cannot allow to have 6, 7 at the time from the same tribe coming inside, harassing women, be violent. They cannot even handle a glass of alcohol because in their culture, normally they're supposed not to drink. And then when they see a couple of legs, they think they are pretty much, hunting season. And all they need to do, grab the woman by the hair. That's not what's supposed to happen in a civilized country. So I understand this is very, very serious, and I feel sorry for all of us. It's not just your problem. Now, what do you think Wednesday is going to happen? You have this judge, and you hope everything's going to go away, probably, or you think maybe something else could happen?
Well, of course I'm hoping that, but I don't know. I mean, they haven't clearly said what I'm being charged with, if anything, and if I'm not being charged, though, then why do I have to appear? But yeah, I still have to. I'm hoping that what's going to happen is judge is going to read out, probably the first paragraph of whatever papers are put in front of him, and he's just going to say, "I have better things to do than this." Bye, have a nice day. Sorry that you had to come in here.
Yeah.
But that's not always how life works, I guess. But come what may. But
You have any witnesses coming with me?
It could go either way, really.
Yeah.
Especially that with my background and with the background of these people, this is someone pointed this out to me that I've known for a long time, and he said, you kind of picked a really bad time to have this little altercation because these are the kind of stupid little things that turn into I gotta watch my language. Like a big crap storm. Where they try to make an example or whatever. So. Oh yeah. I mean, I can be outspoken, but even with those kind of people, I treat everyone on their merits.
I agree.
And I most certainly don't go out of my way to get in fights or anything like that. I respect life and people's right to not be accosted more than the average person, but.
No, I believe.
I kind of, like I said, it could go either way. I'm hopeful, but I'm mentally trying to be prepared that this could be a long, ridiculous circus show.
Yeah, because I believe what's going on here's going to be a lot of politics. I mean, when you have the first minister of your country that cries over on TV over the Syrian refugees, and by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, I read on the news, he's giving $1 billion Canadian dollars, or am I right, to the Syrian refugees? Am I right or wrong? I mean,
I don't remember the number.
Why was it 1 billion?
It's a big number. It's taxpayer money.
Yeah.
But he's so proud that since he came into office, he his party, the Liberal Party of Canada, that they're responsible for bringing in and what do you call it? Giving safe refuge to more than 40,000 Syrian refugees. Well, I bet maybe 1,000 of them are Syrian. And what about like the hundreds of thousands of Syrians who can't, actually would like to be refugees but can't get out? That, like I said, probably hundreds of thousands could be saved if he hadn't have pulled our Air Force out of their bombing missions against ISIS. That's what he did. We're the only Western country that do not basically view ISIS as what they are, a terrorist organization that should be bombed into the oblivion.
Probably, remember, but just to let you know, ISIS, just to give you our side of story here, is being funded and, of course, also financed by the CIA, the Obama administration, and they are terrible people, but they're used exactly like, the puppets, to create a distraction, so they can create the crisis, and then we come, with the army, and we create wars. But still, they are terrible people. But the sad story is that, unfortunately, they've been financed, and we have evidence here, public records, that the former administration was behind ISIS. The Pentagon was financing ISIS. Like, the Bush administration, they were financing also Al-Qaeda. That's a fact. But regardless...
Yeah, that whole, Al-Qaeda being the reason behind the war in Afghanistan, I think I told you, met a lot of bad people from different... drug cartel groups and, militias and all that. Never once did I ever hear of or see anyone be either captured or make contact and have to pick a fight with Al-Qaeda. They're just not there. Even the locals kind of laugh at it like it's a big myth.
Yeah.
I call BS,
It's the
if
enemy.
they were ever there, it was before the invasion, and then they got moved somewhere else.
Exactly. The invisible enemy that you never can capture, but we're going to be at war for 100 years with this invisible enemy. That is exactly what the military-industrial complex dreams, That's how they create these illusions, and of course, and then we lose our rights, and more important, they create a crisis, and then we are forced to receive the refugees for the stupid and illegal wars. But I understand. Lisa, I have a question for you. I really commend you. You have a big heart, and I tell you, I'm proud to call you my friend, because I don't know many other people that they would do that, especially after you already had smash just a few months before during Christmas. You just follow your heart. Now, in Italy there is a proverb, there is no tree without two, or there is no two without three, something like that. What if tomorrow, let's say, you go on minding your business, and again, you see some young girls with surrounded and even physically, let's say, touched or assaulted by evil people. I don't care which color, I don't care which religion. Would you still, do what you did, or would say, what, I've done enough after all, I gave enough, I need to mind my business?
No, I couldn't just see that and do the whole ostrich thing. I'm not. It's not even that I don't know. I don't view myself anyways as a particularly brave person or anything. It's just, I would hate myself if I saw something like that and just cowered away and let it happen knowing what could happen. That didn't happen. No, these kind of things that happen to me times here and there, it's not very common, but whenever it does, it's like, I'm serious. It's not because I'm trying to play a hero, and it's not even because usually I want to. It's just, so somebody has to. It's kind of like if you see somebody, especially in a case where like a minor or a woman is at risk or something like that. It's like, if you see that and you don't do anything, what if then you see that person's face in the paper or whatever? I mean, I don't know. I have a conscience. I could never do that. I would never be able to look myself in the mirror again, and I just feel like the biggest coward, whatever in the world now. Even if I really didn't want to or are afraid, somebody has to in that situation. When people just let it happen, then that's the end of it all.
I understand, and I feel like you, but unfortunately, you see, reality out there, the majority of society is being already brainwashed to completely ignore it, mind their business, go home, lock their door, and just, get a couple pills just to forget and get drunk maybe, and tomorrow is another day. But please, don't touch my little world. That's the sad thing. I wish more people like you.
Go watch the hockey game and drink some beer, and forget about everything. That's the going way up here.
You know what I think? Ridiculous. I have my conspiracy theory here now. I believe that normally, the best people, what I call people, the warriors, people that they are by nature, they would like to defend the innocent, or they call them the sheepdogs, whatever you want to call them. They've been
we have that term up here.
Yeah, they systematically been let's say directed in these illegal wars. Because then, first of all, what happens? Like Ulysses, when he left town, when the king is, or let's say the man is out of the house, the invaders take over. And same story now, for example, when you got the best men or best women of a country, pretty much sent overseas in these conflicts. And then, of course, they come back, they got their own little problems, they're stressed out, and they got maybe they need some help. And then they fill them up with pills and medication like we were talking last time. That's exactly how they're going to somehow control and, let's say, try to neutralize the best, in my opinion, of a nation, because at that point, who is left normally? There are people that normally they are easier to, let's say, control, easier to manipulate, and for sure, they don't have that magic sparkle inside them. They would do things that normally the average person maybe doesn't even dream to do. So that's what I'm afraid. The best men and best women, too, they've been pretty much sent away from home, from the shores, and now when they're back, they try to pretty much fill you up with pills and put you in a situation that you are potentially a domestic terrorist just because, you come back and you have knowledge and maybe you have no fear to stand up for your rights. And that's exactly what happened. And then the country is left pretty much with a bunch of women. And nothing wrong with women. I mean, I know women that probably got more balls than many men, in my opinion. But then more important, you have these guys that they're really pretty much, like you said, squids, whatever they are, spineless. So that's
squids.
Yeah, I really believe that. This is my conspiracy. They get, and the same story here. Our best men, they all sent away overseas in 128 countries. And what we have left here is a bunch of older people and people that normally they're on drugs. And they don't give a crap. That's pretty much the story, unfortunately. Not everybody, but of course, there is the majority. Anything you want to say in case I don't hear from you on Wednesday? Because I hope to hear from you Wednesday night, but, leave me a message in the bottle in case you don't come back.
I was gonna add to what you were just saying, that you basically just described my life for, that's at least 5 years now. Growing up and all that, well, of course there was, other immigrants, I say other because, I wasn't born here myself, but, particularly, there was the Persian kids and there's the Romanian kid and all that, whatever, but, this was Canada. How I grew up, it was Canadian, but when I was out, discharged and, trying to adjust and reintegrate back in, I started watching my friends, drop off from drugs or, suicide, or just, even just the society here is so hypocritical. They'll talk about like you're some hero or whatever, which can be humbling, but really it's just like, I'm the kind of person, I don't want any attention, so I don't like people coming up and, saying, oh, hey, thanks for your service. I used to really hate having to go home from garrison in my garrison dress. But at the same time, they'll then go to, some protest and talk about what, evil, insert, name, whatever, anyways, that you are, and how all you care about is, usually it's oil or whatever they say. And then they just talk, they just, basically take a big pee on Canadian culture and Western civilization and just dump on everything. And, like, literally in, 8 years, I watched the Canada that I knew for 18 years. I knew. Suddenly I came home, it felt like I just, like, woke up, came home one day, and I was in a different country. I don't get why or how everything works now. I always feel uncomfortable and stuff, and people here, they don't, well, I don't know how it is in the U.S. I haven't been to the States for a while, but yeah, here there's no appreciation of, the warrior mentality in any shape or form. Even if you're, the truest warrior, which is, that you're a peaceful person until you have to fight,
This is exactly...
that's all shunned here now.
It's part of the brainwashing. It's part how you destroy a country from within. First of all, I'm an immigrant myself. You can hear my accent. I always say, I believe in the melting pot. As immigrants, first of all, we should have the duty to assimilate in the country that we choose. And the point is, we choose the country, but the country must, at the end of the day, must choose us. It is not a right to go to any country unless we are born there. So that's the first attitude. You gotta have a good attitude. And more important, it means assimilating means that you don't bring your culture from, from hell. If you live like in places like hell, you try to say, right now I live in this country, I can live my manners of an animal that I don't even think an animal. Animals have much more respect for other people. I mean, I can go around animals and I know that how they behave. They are not cowards. Animals, they don't, unless you have a pack of coyotes. The only animals I can compare these bastards, they're coyotes. I live in the desert, I have a lot of coyotes. Normally what they do, no, it's true, they're normally...
dogs, jackals.
Yeah, they're cowards, they pick their little prey. They are not real warriors. They don't go out, say, okay, let's have a fair fight. No, they just pick the prey that normally they know they can submit. They go around like a pack of gangs, 5, 6 against 1, and they're really disgusting. That's normally coyotes. I don't talk to coyotes. I shoot them when I see them, okay? But that's a coyote, of course. This is not a human being. But regardless, I have even more respect for coyotes. At least coyotes, they follow the nature. They need to eat. They don't even do that because they're really evil. They need to eat. These bastards, they don't have to eat. These bastards, they're just evil. The way they've been raised by their mothers, the way they pretty much they read their stupid book. And I know probably now, next time I come to Canada, I may probably get arrested for what I'm saying. But I don't give a damn because this is exactly what's happening. And it's happening the same thing in Europe. Now you are the guys next. And I will feel very sorry because I see this trend now is getting accelerating in Canada. And if we had now... Listen, I don't like Trump. Right now, I have a lot of things I don't like about Trump. But I tell you one thing only, if he can do, stop this complete flood of invasion. I'd be at least pleased with that. Because this is not an immigration. This is not like some sort of, let's say, refugee helping the world. No, this is about an organized planned takeover of America from within. These people, they do not want to assimilate. Their goal is very simple. To come here, first of all, take over politically. With the number, they will pretty much fight us with their penis. That's all I can say on the air. Because their birth ratio is like 1 to 5. In the next 10 years, 15 years...
1 to 8.
Yeah, 1 to 8. And this is the point, since they make us believe that we are in a democracy, and pretty much now the way it works, at least at many levels in the state, they can start to legislate, take over a position in the government, and they dictate their belief, their morals, and their stupid book on us. Like, for example, it's happening right now in London. The mayor of London pretty much tells you what type of billboards you can put on the wall. Because, according to his book, beautiful women on a, commercial billboard, they are not okay. And next time they can tell you how much beer you can drink, or if you can drink at all, and many other things. So I'm very concerned. And I'm glad that... Go ahead.
Here's something. I mean, I've heard about this mayor of London. The province next to here in Canada, in Alberta, I think I don't remember if it's Edmonton or Calgary.
Yeah.
I think it's Calgary. they've had they're just trying to get rid of a mayor that's just like that. He like myself, he came to Canada when he was very young.
Yeah.
I saw the guy speak one time, and he probably has less of an accent even than myself. That he's lived in Canada 20, 30 years. All of a sudden, after he becomes mayor, suddenly he becomes freaking Saddam Sharia.
Wow.
And I've been to a couple Muslim nations. One in particular was a very nasty one. The other one was like the United Arab Emirates. The little gem that everyone holds up, saying, look how great their culture can be. And well, here's the thing: Sharia, all that. Even before you get to that, problems come. And when we get off the phone, I want you to do yourself a favor, brother. Yeah. Look up a term, hijra.
Okay. How do you spell it?
It means migration. And then think about everything that's happened in Italy or Sweden, all these camps in France and Greece. It's in their Quran what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why I always try to tell people, look, no, this is a freaking invasion.
Yeah. You can see already now because, you pretty much look at, there are videos out there. People can say whatever they want. First of all, the statistics, they are there. Sweden now is being completely taken over. There are some part of the cities in Stockholm or other part of Sweden, no even police are allowed to go. In France, you cannot go. It's completely Sharia law. There is no more law. There is no more the law of the land. It's just now the law. Imagine what happened in the next 20, 30 years if we don't stop this. So my point is, it's called like almost a self-destruction. But more important, all you have to do, guys.
It is. The West is committing suicide.
Yeah.
For no reason.
They had to read their book. You had to listen to their voice, they do not want to assimilate. They cannot assimilate. There is no coexistence between their belief and any social civil society based on respecting each other. At least any other religion I heard out there, there is no religion in the world that I know, even the most fundamental Christian or whatever other fundamental belief you want to have, that they think like them. Right now, these people pretty much says you must convert to Islam, number one. If you do not convert, you have two options. Or you pay a tax, the DIMA. You are like a B citizen. And you cannot have guns, by the way. Or we chop your head. Simple as that. And you gotta go just on YouTube. I may play even something maybe now. Listening to their imam or many different type of priests, whatever they call themselves. And pretty much they tell you, guess what? We don't want to assimilate. We will rule by Sharia law soon or later.
Well,
that's what they do.
Not only do they not want to assimilate, but they have a culture and their values that they've grown up with and been accustomed to that are so different from ours that even before they come here and scratch their heads at how soft and weak the mighty Westerners actually are when they come here.
Yeah.
They already come from a point that they have been at one spectrum and Western culture has been at the other end of a spectrum, at war for, 14 years, 1,500 years?
Yeah.
So especially because, even, doesn't matter what your religious background is here as a Westerner or your ethnicity, to them when they first arrive, you're a Christian, you're a Westerner, and if you're a woman, you are, you have no honor, you're just, I'm trying not to say the words that'll get you in trouble. Whatever, you're a prostitute basically, and if you're a man, then you're the same as livestock basically.
Yeah.
And they will be they'll what they're doing, especially here in Canada. You see it blatantly. They're using the laws that we put in place to protect people who maybe actually are coming from a point where they find them. Can only go forward, and yet they have no one to speak up for them, no one to defend them and whatnot. But all those laws have been taken so far that these groups that come in that don't like us, people who still do have a brain, they use it against us. And, the pattern is there. And people who say, what's that term? Cultural relativism. Oh, one culture is as good as another. No. I have been to, do you know who the Pashtuns are?
Yeah.
Starting in Afghanistan and a bunch of Pakistan.
Yes.
The old Pashto culture.
Yes.
Now, it has a lot of really beautiful aspects to it, but I've seen up close, very up close, what life is like there.
Yeah.
Coming from a country as nice as Canada. I mean, it's a real eye-opener the moment you go into basically the Stone Age.
Yeah.
That's what it's like there, and that's what they'll do here. They'll run into the ground because everything is haram, or,
Yeah, and also, this, I think, is, we're talking about people grow up in a very tough environment. They come here and they see this young youth pretty much like, when we have here, in America, the new generation, video games, soft hands, they cannot even go in a fist fight because, even if they just try to do something at school, they're going to get probably discipline for life. I mean, we have a completely new generation the last 30, 40 years than our fathers. And now these people, they come from primitive worlds, and they pretty much, they think it's like, let's say, raid time, because there is no match. When you get these people coming from a world that, they eat pretty much rocks for lunch, and and all they do have sex with gods pretty much, and you come here, you got a civilized country. They're pretty much, unfortunately, become too civilized, in my opinion. That's what we are. We are too civilized, and we have no more the instinct, what I call the survival instinct that our fathers maybe had. I mean, let's be honest. And then we were talking about this too. Testosterone level, the last 50 years, dropped dramatically by 70% in our generation compared to our, grandfathers or fathers. That's the reality. And when these people come here, guess what? They have a party time. Because on top, they have all the establishment, all the media, all the politically correctness out there on their side. And guess what? That's exactly how a country get destroyed, like the Roman Empire get destroyed from within. That's pretty much the same.
Civilizations die from suicide, Luca.
Exactly.
They don't die from being overcome. It's because they commit suicide.
Exactly. But my point is, still there is life, there is hope. Still there is people like you, in my opinion, there is hope. And I hope you can inspire other people. I don't care now if probably nobody in Canada listens to the show. I care that maybe other people in America understand what's happening to you and also what's happening to us, because the same story, believe me, happened also here. I mean, many other parts of America, we have the same problem. Trust me, Michigan, outside Detroit, there are some parts that don't even speak English anymore. And this is exactly how we stop evil. We must at least speak up against evil. I don't say that you have to go there and do what you did. Maybe not everybody has the body, the capability even to face it. But at least, guys or ladies, you have the duty to open your mouth and scream, for God's sake. If you see somebody being, sexually harassed or sexually, let's say even attacked, or even just beaten or violently attacked, anything that could be illegal, we have the right to speak up and scream. That's what I can say. Of course, not everybody is like Arizona, that we have the laws that give us the opportunity to defend evil, really also with deadly force. I'm not even going there. I'm telling you, at least use your voice. Bring a whistle. At least make noise. Don't just be silent and run and hide and go into your hole that you really, I don't know how you can go in the morning and wash your face without spitting on that mirror. Seriously, guys. How can you do that? I would have probably a bunch of spit all over my mirror if I didn't do anything when I see things like that. So I really want to say I'm proud to call you my friend. I'm very thankful. I pray for you that Wednesday, the judge going to have some sense. And in case he's not going to, I know you will do the right thing. Ask for evidence, because evidence also must be there. And they will see that you were just trying to do your duty as a Canadian citizen to defend innocent people. So I give you the last minute. Whatever you want to say, you close the floor.
Well, I was raised, Canadian society, but, in my household, we brought, our little piece of culture, from where, we come from, in Scandinavia. Not everyone is what most people think of when they think of that region. But there are, the old ways, which, in my family, you speak the truth, you look a man in the eyes, and you don't let, BS happen. You call it out. And, don't fear death. Don't rush towards it necessarily. You're here for important reasons, and you have people who care about you. But, getting punched in the head versus knowing that when you do nothing and somebody, especially an innocent, like a child, gets hurt because you did nothing, you're worse than the person who did it to them, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I agree completely. Listen, Tyrssen, please be in touch with me, and I hope you can bring somebody with you on Wednesday, just in case something happens to you. At least they can let us know, okay? Try to go.
Yeah, my brother will be coming in with me.
All right, and tell to your brother, give him my email or Facebook, whatever. At least in case you cannot get out there, in case they play any type of funny game, tell him to give me an instant message. Let me know what's going on, please. I appreciate it, okay?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, man. Listen, I'll let you go now. Stay 1 second after this. Let me close. Stay there, okay? Okay, guys. Roger. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. And please, we have a little break, and we'll close this hour. This is serious information. This show, it is not entertainment. Just the things I'm talking here, the way we are calling things. In some countries like Europe, I could be at least fined. At least I could be sued. And let's say in some countries I also could be arrested. Okay, so we're not playing games. I really want to do this because it's like a warning. Because what's happening right now in Canada, we are already here. It's not next. We're already here. And I say I don't like Trump. On many things he's been a failure. But right now, if one thing he must uphold, he must stop this complete flood of an invasion that pretty much was planned a long time ago. And if we don't stop it, it's going to be over. Do not go away. In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. Okay, guys, so this is the end for today. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom, or you've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Sometimes, I'm sorry, I get a little emotional, or at least it's human. You see things happening, like it's almost like a bad movie in slow motion, that you already know the end, or at least you see where it's going to. And I really worry about the future of humanity in general. But more important, I really worry about the future of what's happening to us as Americans, as Canadians, as Europeans. We've been pretty much put on the target of the globalists to be destroyed. This is a genocide. This is not just, it's an accident. No, they want to destroy Western civilization. It's a fact. The globalists will use the useful idiots, like the cadres of zombies, to destroy the rest of us. And of course, they're good at that. They always create these conflicts, and more are coming. And of course, I'm very concerned what's happening right now in the Middle East, especially with Trump, that is really out of control. I mean, now, did you hear the latest one about Assange? According to the Attorney General, Assange is a priority. Are you kidding me? What is your priority with Hillary? What is your priority with, the Pizzagate? I mean, Hillary is supposed to be right now already facing trial. This is disgusting. And I'm sad that this is, of course, happening now under the Trump administration, because the little bit of glance of hope we had, I'm telling you, it's gone. Assange should be given a Medal of Honor, in my opinion, for exposing all these criminal activities of governments, and, of course, also part of our government. And, of course, if Trump got elected, probably it's because of Assange. Okay, and now they want to go after him. You know what? Shame on you. Really shame on you. Where is the justice? Hillary's still around. Obama has been spying on people. He's been spying on the same Trump administration before he even was a president, illegally, allegedly committing crimes. And where is the AG, Attorney General? Unfortunately, I start to believe that it's all a game. But we still have each other. That's all I'm saying. We are here. As Americans, as human beings from even other countries, I like when I find people like Tyrssen from Canada. Is a brother. I don't care which country you're from. We stand for the same ideals. We stand for the same love. Love also for us, for our humanity, to preserve who we are and to preserve the next generation. So that's pretty much the story. Now, of course, the wind is blowing here in the studio. I forgot the door to be open. But what I would like to say, please be ready for next Sunday. I'll be in Havasu City for the CCW class at Havasu Guns. And Sunday, of course, I'll be in Kingman, as I said, with the another CCW class at the On Target Enterprise. So I'd like to meet you. Please, if you want to come to the class, go to azccw.us, contact me, and I'll give you more information. Meanwhile, if you want to support the show, it's very simple. All you have to do, go to www.zanna.us. You can download any of my songs anywhere you are around the world. I mean, if you are in, I don't know, Africa or whatever, you don't even need to receive the CDs. All downloadable, 99 cents. You can download more than 100 songs. And of course, if you want my Zanna Coffee, go to www.zannacoffee.com. And don't forget, of course, my new ebook that has been already on Amazon for a while. It's lyrics and poems. And coming soon, the new book that I think is going to be really exciting. And next week, I will read more poems. I know this week has been kind of crazy. But the new erotic poems book, it is called Perfectly Crazy. So it's going to be fun. We need to have fun meanwhile. We're fighting a big struggle for humanity. Meanwhile, we got to have fun because tomorrow is another day. Talk to you Sunday, next Sunday, God's willing. You'll be listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Ciao.